All right, guys, what's going on? We're here. We're live. I'm on my treadmill desk for this podcast. Welcome to. No, I'm actually not in my treadmill desk. I wanted to be on a treadmill desk in honor of Sauce 123, aka Ben Sulsky, joining the Poker Live podcast today. My name's Joey, aka Chicago Joy. We're live on YouTube. All right, what's going on, Ben?
Not much. Just walking along, singing my song.
Okay, so those that don't know, Ben Sulsky, aka Sauce, aka Mr. GTO, debatably. He makes a lot of training videos on the websites, and he walks during his videos. He's got a treadmill desk. So he's going to be doing this entire podcast walking. And I know some of you guys out there might not actually do much physical activity, but this guy talks and walks at the same time, man. Why'd you start doing that, Ben?
Just because when you're playing a lot of hours of online poker, it's way healthier to be walking as opposed to sitting. If you read, there's all these new studies that say like sitting is the smoking of our generation and such, which like probably isn't accurate, but like sitting too much isn't good for you. And then also it's just more satisfying to be walking along as opposed to just like sitting in a chair all day, I think. You know what?
I gotta try this. Maybe this is what the thing I might be missing in my life is like a treadmill desk where I'm walking and I mean, if it really feels accomplishing, like as you're doing something online.
Well, like over the course of a week, I might walk like 25, 30 miles or something like that. So it adds up. But like, just in terms of like feeling like a lazy slob, it definitely helps too. Like, for example, Canadian winters obviously suck. And so at the end of last winter, I was walking this treadmill desk all the time. And usually when I go out in the spring and I go to start running and stuff, I don't go to a gym or anything. So in the spring, it's like, okay, time to like actually like get off your ass and do something. And usually when I do that and I go take a run, after like 2 miles, I'm like sucking wind and I'm like, totally out of shape. But after the treadmill desk, I went and I just ran like 10K. Just no problem. Just because I've been walking every day and like my body didn't hate itself as much as normal. So I think it does matter.
So would you say that having a treadmill desk is GTO?
I would say definitely GTO.
There was actually over on Pinnacle, they actually had a bet for this podcast how many times we would say the word GTO. So I believe last I checked, the over/under was 97, and I put some heavy action on the over. So I'm gonna try. Shout out to Pinnacle, by the way. I'm very happy they got. I know a friend at Pinnacle. He did a favor for me and put it up there. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much, my friend. But yeah, for those that don't know Ben, he's debatably one of the best no limit hold'em PLO players, now aspiring mixed game player in the world. He's been around poker for many. How many years have you been around poker in the community?
I've been playing for almost 10 years, and I've been playing like seriously for at least 6, probably.
So you made it from it seems like you've been around the high stakes community for like 6 years almost itself.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I mean, like I went from playing, pretty low to playing high stakes really fast. And I've been at high stakes ever since, mostly.
That easy, huh?
I mean, I've done a lot of dumb shit in the meantime too, but like I've been able to like mostly stick around high stakes with some sort of like brief dips to mid stakes and stuff. But that's kind of been the plan.
Well, guys out there aspiring to do that yourself, do you think that's still possible in this day and age? Obviously now and we're going to talk about the whole botting situation. There's the bots, there's there's all kind of like, the landmines you got to dodge now to make it from small stakes to high stakes.
Yeah, I mean, it's harder now for sure. I think that it's a whole different environment. We can get way into that later, I guess.
All right, cool. Let's start off. We're talking about bots. So for you guys who are watching this, if you're watching this 1 year from now, 3 years from now, if you're listening to this on iTunes, if you're watching this on one of those Polish websites that upload my videos for the Polish people that watch, there's a botting situation right now going on. Allegedly, there's a botting situation going on Pokerstars. There was a thread over in the high stakes PLO community where you can go check that out if you're interested in checking up on it. Basically, there are these, I think it's 11 accounts still playing mid stakes right now, allegedly are botting. Multi-accounting, botting, potentially sharing whole cards. There was confirmed 6 accounts from Russia that got banned previously. They were playing 50 cent dollar, and these other accounts are playing 2, 4, 3, 6, 5, 10, and 1, 2. They're some of the biggest winners at 1, 2 ring, not Zoom. They're 5 or 6 of the top winners at that stake. They're some of the biggest winners at 2, 4. They're some of the biggest winners at 1, 2 Zoom and 2, 5 Zoom. I believe one of the accounts is. And now there's a big investigation. Well, actually, Stars hasn't actually publicly commented, which is, pretty ridiculous at this point in time since we're a couple days in. And I feel like I summed it up quite okay, adequately there. Sauce, can you add anything else more that you might have read?
I've read most of the same stuff you have. You've read more. But that seems about right. So maybe we should get into why we think these accounts are bots.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, you can kind of you're more the stats guy. You probably understand stats a little bit better than I was understanding reading them. So why don't you go ahead and you can kind of summarize those.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it that well either. But I mean, the part that I do understand is that this guy, the OP, basically takes a bunch of stats, and he doesn't like cherry pick the stats. He takes like a bunch of like really normal stats, like c-bet flop, c-bet turn, c-bet river, raise first in by position. And then he takes the population of like winning regulars at, say 1-2 zoom. And he looks at the difference between those stats across like all the winning players. And then he lines up all the suspected bots and he looks at the, the differences in those like really main indicator stats. And it's like 0.3% for all the bots. And for everyone else, it's just like way, way, way bigger. So all the bots are playing basically identical stats over, hundreds of thousands or even millions of hands of a sample, which I think there's two interpretations there of that. Number one is that they're bots. Number two is that there are a bunch of guys sitting in a room in Russia and like following the same hand chart or like playing an extremely similar strategy. But they're definitely not 6 or 7 or 8 different humans scattered across the globe, all trying to play poker and trying to figure it out themselves. They're definitely in cahoots somehow.
So, do you think this is kind of ridiculous or insane that they've been allowed to function for so long? Especially there's regulars that, Pastafari, he emailed in maybe a year ago about these alleged accounts. One of them accounts, I Push My Prius, is actually, he was a mid-stakes player. He's banned now. But I think it's crazy that they're still playing on the site. They've been able to play, and Stars hasn't really, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It seems interesting. What do you think?
Well, I mean, should it be against the terms of service to like have 6 guys be copying the same strategy? So like, for example, maybe there's guys who have Snowy up on a laptop and it's not connected to the internet, or maybe it is, but it's a completely different IP or something. And they're all playing 6-max no limit hold'em, and maybe they're scattered all across the globe and they never talked to each other in person before. But if that was the case, they'd all be playing basically exactly the same and they'd be copying Snowy, but they wouldn't all be colluding together. And like, is that botting? Is that not botting? Or like in even a more gray area case, like maybe they're just all taught by the same guy and they're following like a pretty like easy hand chart, like mid pair or greater, go all in, top pair or greater, go all in, gutter fold or something like that. And they have some like pre-flop hand chart and they're able to like copy each other perfectly. And they're just like a bunch of like mindless, guys in a room. Is that botting? Is that legal? So I think there's like a bunch of levels of gray that this could be, but I think by far the most likely interpretation of these events is this just a fucking bot.
Yeah, well, so I think some people were still skeptical about, something happening. So I got really paranoid. I went on a deep dive on Russian PTR. Shout out to Russian PTR, by the way, for like being around, existing. I know PTR is actually on the ban, the original PTR is on the ban websites list for Pokerstars. So Russian PTR, thank you very much. I looked at all the graphs for the accounts, the alleged accounts.
Right.
All of their graphs function the same way. They're a little bit slowly up. Their red line, which is the non-showdown line, varies above break even. Then every account switches halfway. The red line starts going down. The blue line shoots up. All the accounts. So yeah. I talked to Schwein, who's one of the guys who's been doing a lot of work. I sent the graphs to him. I was like, hey, can you check this out? All the stats and all the accounts should switch at the exact same time. Sure enough, he looks over in October 2014 for all the accounts. All of their 2 specific stats changed for each account at the same exact time. So right. If this isn't the verification, this isn't a hard stat either. If this isn't a verification from PokerStars side that these guys are, I mean, as you mentioned, they could be. It could be this little Russian team. They got a rush. They got this apartment, and they're all got the hand chart. Defending 40% from the big blind. They know all 40% of the range of hands, but. Unfortunately, for poker, I don't think this is the case. I think these might be some.
Yeah, it's like I think one of the things that Schwein's posts point to, if you like actually read all the technical stuff, is it points to the level of precision between all the different accounts is so high. Like, you know, you would think that if they're following a hand chart, they're going to make enough mistakes, or they're going to get bored or tilted, or just random like human emotions are going to come into it, that there'd be more variation in stats than it looks like these accounts have had, which is why I think that botting is the most likely explanation, because the stats are just so close.
It's pretty crazy. And I guess some people were suspecting potentially these accounts might be linked, the bots might be linked together, therefore you then have access to 4 extra cards, therefore you can take advantage of different blocker situations, you know who's folded what in what situation, so you could potentially, I mean, if you could program a bot to do that in real time, that's I mean, I certainly wasn't suspecting anything of this going on, you know, a week ago. Did you think anything like this was, I guess, existing out there in PLO?
I didn't think this sort of thing was happening on Stars. It looks like it is. I knew this sort of thing was probably happening on other sites. One of the ways we could check actually whether they're sharing hole card info is see if the bots are playing Zoom. The more Zoom they play, the less likely it is they're sharing hole card info, because it's much harder to share it in a Zoom pool. If they're not playing any Zoom, and if most of their hands are logged at the same table as other suspected accounts.
Oh, you lagged out there. Can you repeat just the last part?
Oh yeah, so if they're not playing Zoom and they're playing regular tables, and most of the time when they're playing regular tables, they're sitting with each other, that's good reason to think they're colluding.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, I think Pokerstars got into contact with Schwein, or he got in contact with them. I believe he is doing some sort of assistance with him. And I mean, so going forward, if these bots are eliminated, what's to stop them from coming up with new accounts, tweaking their strategy, now that everyone in the thread's pointing out every flaw in their game that now we notice? I mean, I'm sure the bot makers are watching this. Shout out to the bot makers. I mean, you guys are doing something crazy. I can't necessarily think it's good, but give them a shout. I'm sure they're watching right now, looking for some tips, free tips, and free strategy. So, like, going forward, what do you think happens here?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's impossible to say. It's like it's going to be a constant sort of like cat and mouse game, I think. It's probably the most likely thing. Like, I don't think there's an obvious thing that Stars can do or that the botters can do to make sure they get away with it or they don't.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to follow along with that, it is over in the High Stakes PLO forum. Go check it out. And I think we're all kind of awaiting to see what happens. So no official statement from Pokerstars yet. Shout out to Pokerstars.
Yeah. I mean, I think Stars is taking a long time to get on this topic. I think that's another thing that people are frustrated about.
I think that's one of the biggest frustrations. I mean, if they have someone come post in the thread, say, hey, like, we're investigating this. I mean, it's obviously they're probably investigating this, but just to confirm for people, like, hey, like, we're reading your stuff, we're taking a look at things, then I think that would alleviate a lot of maybe tension that some people are feeling towards Pokerstars and towards the incident in general.
Yeah. I think there's an issue too where Stars has some kind of system or team in place that's supposed to detect these sorts of things. And what happens when these bureaucracies or these companies get really big is they have their way of detecting stuff. And if they don't detect it, then the people whose job is to figure this out just say, hey, it's not a bot. It's not cheating. And then we say, no, it is. Like I've seen this. Like, I know how to spot a cheat. And they say, no, we have very sophisticated algorithms. We have a whole security team with access to millions upon millions of hands. And so we know how to spot, we know how to spot this stuff much better than you do. But the answer is that, like, there's a issue where, like, no matter how much data or algorithms you have, there's a lack of common sense and a lack of, like, big picture awareness that is there that it doesn't seem like they're willing to address. And I think it's a clear example of, like, being stuck inside a methodological box. They have this method of detecting cheats. Within their box, they can't see the cheats. Therefore, there are no cheats. But they don't want to listen to anyone else. And I think that's the issue. And as poker players, we don't have that luxury because we have to figure out how to win. So when our methodology doesn't work and we start losing, we start to reevaluate. But there's no incentive in this corporate structure to reevaluate the detecting of cheats because people want to keep their jobs.
Yeah, and I mean, do you ever think that at the stakes you play? So you play, 50, 100, 100, 200. You play some 25, 50, 2, 4. Obviously now you're playing in the mixed games too. Do you ever suspect anything nefarious going on? That's a nice word. Nefarious going on in those games that you play in right now or in the past?
Well, I mean, I'm sure I've been cheated at some points in my career. That just seems like it'd be silly to think I wasn't. But I'm not being cheated frequently enough that I haven't been able to win.
Bang,
so bang. I don't really mind. I mean, I think if it gets really really crazy, I'll be able to spot it pretty quick. And the good thing about the high stakes games is everyone knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, and word tends to get out eventually. So I think people usually get caught before too long.
Yeah. So we are live streaming this, guys. I believe my friend Adrian Phoenix brought some of his Twitch users to the YouTube chat. I got to say that most Twitch people that are watching, they leave the most un-GTO comments ever. And Kim Jong Joey is prepared. He just got loaded up with a hammer right now to strike down on those in the chat who say the most ridiculous things ever. We got to moderate this thing around here. This is the North Korea equivalent of chat. So there's some interesting comments, and I'm going to start. I got to start throwing out some.
I got to read the chat now.
You don't want to figure it out. There's literally nothing good going on in the chat right now. It's just a bunch of it's like we're on Twitch. I feel like we're on Twitch right now. Shout out to Twitch, by the way. They're still playing great. Shout out to Adrian. He's got a great stream. So if you wanna try to read the chat, man, that's a interesting place. But whatever, man. All right. So where are you at right now? Are you in Toronto still? Are you back home? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto. I am going to be here. Not quite sure how long, but I'm going to try to go into Vegas hopefully next week if I can, figure it out.
Well, what's the holdup? You had a wedding you mentioned, I think, before.
Yeah, I have a wedding this weekend, and I'm doing some paperwork. I'm applying for my permanent residency in Canada fairly soon, and I want to get that paperwork done first. And I also just like the summer in Toronto.
Yeah. Who do you hang out with? Anyone up there? Or do you ever get in touch? I know LaFort lives up there.
Yeah, I actually shared some office space with LaFort, I guess, about a year and a half ago now. And I share like a house where a bunch of people come to grind, which is nice just to bullshit and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that that Dan Smith, King Dan, who we had on a podcast, he was actually, I think, maybe behind you when he did his podcast.
Yeah, yeah, he was. Dan's station is like right over here, and yeah.
So you have a revolving door of players that kind of just come, hang out, they stay there for a period of time, and then they kind of go and you stay?
Somewhat revolving. Actually, a lot of the guys who come here do DFS now. But it's just nice to have, like people who are thinking about the same sort of topics, sharing space. So yeah, it's fun. So you're applying for permanent residency. I think Ansky said he was doing, what was it? Was it Ansky? No, it was Ben in E6. Ben Tollerine said he's doing the same thing. Yeah. So, well, I'm applying in a different way. Like I got married recently to my, now wife, who I've known for 6 years. So she's Canadian. So we're planning on being in Canada for a while, probably. So I'm finally getting around to applying for permanent residency. You told me this the other day, and I was like really taken aback. I was like, "You're married?" I'm not sure why I didn't put together that. I didn't know you're married. Did you meet her in Canada, or did you meet her previous to Canada? I met her in Canada. Yeah, I graduated from the University of Toronto, which is the main university in Toronto, and I met her through actually one of my best friends from high school. I was going to university up here, and I was visiting him for the summer, and I met her through friends, and yeah, we stayed together. The Canadian girl grind, huh? CGG. Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of the Canadian girls. Are you? Is she? Would you? Big girl grinder too? Big BG? No. I mean, like 5'2", 170. Oh, you mean are you BGG then? Are you sure? No, I'm joking. Trolling? We got excited. I'm sorry. I wanted to impress you so badly, but I have to be truthful at some point. Sigh. What's the what's the wife like? What's the Canadian wife like? Who locks up Sauce? How does a girl come into the Sauce's life and lock him down? How does that work? I think she has basically no interest in poker aside from her interest through me, which I think is kind of cool. So so yeah, we just met through friends and are completely different types of people. She's very warm, funny, works with kids, that kind of thing. Whereas I obviously play a computer game mostly all day. So yeah, we have very different interests, but we get along really well. It's pretty cool. I mean, so I guess do you think that it's
I mean, do you like that there's it's not really much like crossover in terms of your primary thing that you do, or do you guys share any hobbies or anything like that? Or is it kind of just you guys are pretty opposite, but really enjoy spending time together and you can kind of talk about different things and the conversation goes well?
Yeah, I mean, like we can talk about a bunch of stuff that isn't poker. I think it's nice after playing poker all day and knowing all these guys in the poker world who I can talk to about like, GTO ranges and such. Like at the end of the day, go and just like kick back and watch a movie or go see some music or go like out to dinner or just go do like cultural stuff where I don't have to think about poker. Mm-hmm. That's something that I like.
So this is a question I literally have for myself all the time because I feel like I have a lot of really great interactions with different women. We can talk about a lot of different things. But it's like for this, so this one for you, what was the special thing that was like the turning point? Like, all right, like I know I want to get married to this woman because marriage is like in theory, a big lifelong commitment.
Yeah.
The TOS of marriage that people break all the time. So.
Yeah. So like my dating plan was just like one day at a time. So I like met her and I was like, hey, we had a really good time. I'll call her up, see if she wants to go out again. So I did. We had a great time again. And we just like kept doing that for like 2 years. I mean, there's absolutely no talk about commitment or plans or nailing anyone down. It was just like, hey, like this girl's awesome. We had a great time last time. Let's just go hang out again. Do our normal daily stuff, keep hanging out. And then eventually like that solidified into something that was more long-term, but there was never like a push or like a, moment of commitment to get there that felt like unnatural, I guess.
Marriage, man. I can't get around. We haven't too many married guys on this podcast. We gotta get some single motherfuckers on the podcast. I'm getting influenced now. I had Ansky on. I want to get married now. I might find. I gotta give a shout out. Bella B is in the chat. She's an Asian girl I met in Vancouver. Maybe she could be my future Asian wife, and she's also Canadian too. Maybe you never know. I'll think about it. Are you going to Vegas? So you're going to Vegas in about a week, you said.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan. What's the Vegas plan for you?
Play some big games, cash games, specifically. I might play a tournament or 3, but I just can't be bothered to go to the Rio too often.
Wow. Hold on a second, Sauce. Hold on. Would you say you're the kind of guy that when you say you can't be bothered, you really can be bothered sometimes? Or are you the kind of guy when you can't be bothered, you really can't be fucking bothered?
Well, it depends. So if I go and, I'm sitting there in the Bellagio in the morning and it's really dead and someone's like, oh yeah, there's like a 10K stud 8 tournament and there's like 12 guys playing or something and they're all over 70. I'll go down to the Rio and play because I might win a bracelet or something. But for an average, just pretty good value, 5K, 6 max, no limit or something, nah. I'd rather just play cash games at this point. And it's comfortable. The people who you're playing with are relaxed. They're going to have fun. The Rio, everyone is just miserable.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm putting off going to Vegas as long as I can. Also because I don't like podcasting on my laptop, and I just enjoy podcasting on this nice setup much more. So
yeah.
Are you staying in a house out there with some guys, or are you staying at Vidara?
I think I'm gonna do Vidara, yeah. I'm pretty DJing when it comes to live poker. I'll put in the 24+ hour sessions, a lot. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to get to the room, whenever a game goes off.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I just like the energy of live poker too. Online just feels it just makes me lazy and kind of bored after a while. It's 3 months. Okay, I'm waiting for a game. I'm one tabling. I'm watching random bullshit in the background. I'm oh, I should be studying. I should be doing more. But actually, I just want to go outside and shoot hoops or something. But then you get to Vegas and everyone's so excited about poker. People's emotions are going wildly up and down. They win, they lose. Poker is just the most exciting thing for them. I kind of feed off that energy a little bit. And I also just like to, have all these crazy personalities to talk with. I think, playing 1K, 2K limit with Doyle would be a lot of fun, which is not something that I've done yet.
Just one thing about Vegas, we're organizing MTW Davin 77, longtime regular. He's he's one of the biggest degenerates of history when it comes to PLO. But he got in touch with me and came up with an idea. He's like, hey, I'm going to Vegas for this first time in a while. I want to organize something where we get all the regulars that we've been playing with for a long time, kind of get them together and have a little gathering, dinner, do something after. I was like, sounds like a great idea. So we've been sending out some messages to people. And I know we got a lot of guys, PLO guys in the background creeping right now, watching, not commenting. We don't even know you're here. but we're doing it on Thursday, June 25th. And there's already, I think, like LaFord, Odson, Isildrew, Lottie, maybe Vroom, Alexo, Stinger if he's not playing, Cleaner if he's not playing. So I've only got in touch with a few people, but obviously, Ben, if you're interested in that, come on and join us if you're not playing that day. And also anyone else out there, get in touch with me or Davin if you're interested in coming. I got it. That's it. That's all I got about that. So
sweet. Yeah, man.
I think it's like the idea, like I thought about the idea previously, but when he mentioned it to me, I was like, that's such a great idea. Like all of the guys that you like know from the community for probably a long time all together, like it just seems like such a fun idea. Yeah,
for sure. That's why I got into this podcast specifically. Is like, and I think that's one of the reasons why you started making the podcast, right? It's just that you play with these people and you almost get a feel for their personality through playing like, tens of thousands of hands with them. You're just like, who is this crazy person behind this screen name? Like, are you real? And then I watch the podcast and it's like, inevitably some Scandi kid in their mom's basement with like 10 bottles of Red Bull lined up or something. I don't know.
You could definitely see one specific person I'm thinking of in my shot, the Yon 5390, who that might be a setup until he moves out of the apartment soon. So
all right,
yeah. Who have you seen? Like if they had anyone on the podcast you've always wondered about, and then you got to see them or hear from them, and you were like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I haven't watched all the archives yet. I started getting into the podcast maybe like a month and a half ago, so I've been sort of working through them while I grind and stuff. Louty, I thought was pretty entertaining. On Odson, Ola, who I've seen a tiny bit in person, but I never got to spend a lot of time with. I got a kick out of him. I want to see Barry Sweet in the podcast. Has he been on the podcast?
So Barry Sweet, I think he might have just joined the little Skype group, but he likes to stay really anonymous. But I don't. Maybe like 4 years from now, he might come on a podcast. He wins too much money. I think I don't know if he wants to get himself public in Sweden because of the hackers and the mafia or some. I don't know exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what the reason he likes to stay low key. Like obviously, if Isildrew was Swedish, he was like now he's on magazine covers and he's like everywhere. So
is he?
Yeah, he just got on the cover of a Swedish magazine. He looks like a Bond villain / poker player / like modelish look. I don't know. It's a really good picture of him. So
nice. Yeah, I've mostly been watching him through the people who I've played a ton of hands with, and I haven't played as much with Isildrew. Like I played a bit, but he plays more 10-20, I think, in 5-10.
That's true.
So I plays my hands with him.
Well, speaking of Lottie specifically, Lottie actually had a question. Let me go to it. All right, I have this down. So in the last podcast, I believe Ben86 sort of like, I think he laughed at Lottie. And he said something. No, he said he liked to see him in the ring. It was something like that. But he asked you, do you and your friends sit around laughing at hands he plays and how bad he plays them?
Lottie, actually, I have almost no idea about. So prior to the podcast, I didn't know anything about Lottie. And so when he first started playing 2550, I just thought he was some random. I had no idea. And for some reason, I decided that he was a huge nit at first. Like I think he like check raised the river and I called and he had it like 3 times in a row. And so I just like mentally checked out and decided he was just one of these nitty guys who like had too much money, decided he wanted to play 2550 today. And then I noticed that he started winning like every pot against me, doing something crazy. And I was like, maybe I have to reevaluate this. And then he like stopped playing the games. And I think I've made him significantly richer.
That's interesting. Well, maybe he actually asked this question because he said at the end of it, he said, I want to slightly decrease my poker self-esteem. Maybe he knew he was winning money against you, so he had me ask the question knowing that you were going to say that. Therefore, he was going to get his self-esteem increased by your comment back to that question.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't think we played that many crazy pots, honestly. It was just me calling huge bets and losing. That's all I remember from playing with Lottie.
Do you feel like when you play 2550, you take it as seriously as when you play the higher stakes mixed games or 1 or 200 or 200 for 1 or anything like that?
I don't even really ever take it that seriously. Like I do, but I just try to play pretty well every day and continue to like work on my game. I only really take it seriously when I'm tilted. Honestly.
So that's all stakes, or is that just 2550?
Yeah, I know all stakes. I just don't really care that much about stakes.
Do you feel like that's common with other people that you're friends with or that you talk to, the way they approach things?
I'm not sure. I mean, it depends what your motivation is. Like, I get frustrated myself when I feel like I make a bad play, much more than I care about the money or something. And I also feel like, actually, I think this is kind of particular to me because I've noticed that in all kinds of competition, whether it's like basketball, running, anything physical or mental, like I'm the kind of person who gives it like 95% all the time. And I tend to like screw up when I try to give it 100. Like, coaches are always like, give it 110%, give it 110%. Like, I find that when I actually try to do that, I'm already trying like as hard as the coach wanted me to. And when I try to dial it up more, I end up just kind of self-destructing. So I find that I'm pretty good at trying almost as hard as I can all the time. And when I try to do more than that, it doesn't work out.
So I guess, but when you get tilted, you like go that extra 5% over it, and then you feel like you're 100% focused in, or?
Yeah, but that's like an adrenaline thing. Like when I get tilted, I'm just like, oh, I just want to kill this guy, and then I really try to like look for the exploits and stuff more than I would otherwise. But that's just like so mentally exhausting that I have to like be a little pissed off to do it.
Who are these people you wanted to kill at some point in time, or maybe you want to kill right now?
No, it's just anybody who beats me in like certain ways that I don't like on that day for whatever reason. Like sometimes I'll make a play where like I'm like almost indifferent between two options, and my opponent, through some like weird donkish thought process, like picks the exact right option against me like 4 or 5 times in a row. And once they do that, then I just like don't want to let them do that again. And so I just go into like hyper exploitative mode because I just get frustrated that they, like kind of like luck boxed into the right option too many times in a row.
Well, I gotta say, we haven't heard many other people on the podcast say they take that approach to things.
What?
Well, I think most people that come on the podcast tend to like give out the impression that they're always like really focused in when they're playing, and like they're always like, going extremely hard to make like the perfect decision in every single situation. And it sounds like you don't really have a perfect situation a lot. You don't have a perfect decision in a lot of situations. You kind of can go back and forth sometimes.
Yeah, I think a lot of decisions don't matter that much, and I think a lot of people try too hard to make a perfect decision in a spot where it's impossible to do so.
So why do you think it's not? I guess it's some sort of math that you've proven before, and in a lot of situations, it's just that close between the right and wrong decision.
Yeah, it's like two things. It's like the math thing where like, oh yeah, in this spot. Well, it's like three things. Sorry, this is gonna get a little technical, but like the first thing is that exploiting someone is always like it's a give and take. So like sometimes when you exploit someone, you're right and you win some EV on this hand. And then sometimes when you exploit someone, you're wrong and you lose some EV on this hand. And then sometimes you give out some info and they re-exploit you on a separate hand. And it's a constant like rock, paper, scissors balancing act thing. And if you get it right, like 52% of the time, then you end up being like a really good exploitative player. But if you somehow got it right 100% of the time, your win rate would be like 200 big blinds per 100. Like, and there's no one who's consistently correct with their exploits. It's all about just like being right a little more often than you're wrong. So there's that issue, first of all, which is like, anytime you're trying to do something really tricky with your exploits, like you can end up losing just as easily. And then there's the fact that just like mathematically, a lot of decisions are really close in EV, I think, based on the way that I think about poker. So like betting some hand in some spot might be worth like, 1, and checking it might be worth like 0.98. And so theoretically, like if I had even a small exploitative read, that could swing the decision from betting to checking. And if I don't have a read, it kind of doesn't matter. And maybe I have some mix of both. And when I have some mix of like kind of an exploit, but like kind of a feeling, but then I know the math is close, it almost doesn't matter still in my head. And then finally, there's like these like meta strategic decisions you make where like, say you 3-bet in the flop and the flop comes ace 9-8 and your SPR is like 2. You might decide that you're going to bet 25% pot sometimes and 100% pot sometimes. Or you might decide that you're going to bet 50% pot or check. Or you might decide any number of other things that sort of constitute your strategy. Or you just might be, very sweet and decide you're going to bet whatever the hell you want. But like, you have some kind of like.
You picked on. I love it.
Yeah, you make some kind of like pre-strategic decision almost of like how you're going to arrange your strategy, and that matters a lot too. And some of these things that, like, you know, if you try too hard to do it, you just end up confusing yourself too. Like, I don't try to play, like people say I play fancy. I don't try simple poker. And trying to make too many mistakes. And I think that the problem with the whole like GTO way of thinking about poker is that when I see a situation, I can envision, you know, not all, but like a lot more than I think the average, even high stakes player, of all the different exploits and counter exploits and all the different ways the game tree could possibly go. And so I think that a lot of people, when they try to exploit someone, they really narrow things down for themselves, because they say, you know, he's doing this. And they don't examine the fact that, like, the confidence in their read that he's doing this. They just assume that he's doing something, and they try to counter it. And that sort of narrow things down a lot. Whereas when I do it, I say, oh, he may be doing this percent, this percent. And I have like a very wide-ranging approach towards what my opponents might be doing.
Well, guys, that was officially the most strategy I believe I've ever allowed one person to speak.
Sorry, I'll cut it out.
I mean, hey, we don't like to technically get that deep in, but I like it. I wanted to show people who saw. Some people were like, you know, who saw, like, that's, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Sulsky, aka Sauce, 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 in the house. You got to hear a little bit about how the man himself thinks over there. Thank you for enlightening the viewers out there and giving them a little bit inside of your head. I actually feel like people can probably really rewind that and listen to it again and really take something away from that, because it kind of goes against a lot of, I feel like, what most people sort of think is that in some spots there is a perfect decision in each spot. Like, you can, like, if you make this and it doesn't work, like, that's a bad play. You should do something, you know what I mean? You got to learn the right play for every decision. And I guess what you're kind of advocating is that really doesn't exist sometimes, and you should maybe stop focusing on that part so much and focus on other parts of your game.
Yeah, I'm not a big perfect decision kind of guy.
Yeah. Someone in the chat said this the sharpest mind in poker, ladies and gentlemen, second only to Hollywood Haxton. Now, I don't know. I can't support that claim. I don't know, man. What do you think about that? The smartest mind in poker behind second to Hollywood Haxton.
I'm just going to say Hollywood Haxton is a hell of a sharp mind. I think he's definitely, I don't even think, you know, I kind of think of things in like broad strokes kind of way, whereas I think Ike does that too amazingly well, but Ike also has like the nuts and bolts mathematical precision. He's thought of every spot and like has numbers attached to everything. At least that's the impression I get. So yeah, I think he's a sharp mind.
If you and Hollywood Haxton sit down at a table, how's that conversation go?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I've like said hi to Ike, you know, at the World Series like a handful of times in my life. I never actually had a conversation with him. So I don't know.
Huh. Well, maybe you guys will both be at the high stakes PLO gathering. You guys can have it. You guys be able to have a discussion, and maybe I'm curious like how that goes. Like who alphas that situation? Who was the guy like steps up and like was it a give and take? Is one person dominating? Because you meet some poker players and they're like really dominating the conversation, and you're like, oh shit, okay, okay. And yeah, I'm curious how this would go with you two.
Yeah, when I talk to Ike, I like to ask a lot of questions. You know, get Ike to talk. I think that's definitely a good conversational strategy when you're talking with Ike.
The speculation he has a GTO Dream Machine for PLO. Any thoughts on that? Do you think that actually exists, or is that an urban legend?
I mean, Hollywood Haxton can have anything. He has access to all the resources. You know, I mean, he must have something, right?
Believe me, I've heard some rumors. I've heard some speculation made by other players that he may or may not have something like that. But I mean, obviously, if you did, you're not going to be like, yeah, I got this like thing that just fucking boom, boom, put it in. You know, it's like it could be in real time, it could be after the fact, but you know.
I mean, I thought the Dream Machine, he just sort of thinks about it pretty hard, and then he just gets the right answer. Or is the Dream Machine an actual piece of hardware that he has?
We don't know. We're trying to. That's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. We want to figure out if the Dream Machine's an actual program or like a machine in the corner, or if it's just his brain. Which of his brain, I could totally believe it because he's Hollywood Haxton. So
I mean, maybe he just has an abacus and he's really fast with the abacus. I can see that.
This is what you need to find out when you sit at the table and have this conversation with him. Maybe we got to get him drunk or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Sauce, have you ever fallen off the treadmill when you got sucked down on? What?
Yeah, so but I have two monitors and I do almost everything on this monitor, but my treadmill desk is like here.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes I'll sort of like start listing to the right, like a ship in a storm, and then I'll step off the treadmill and kind of like almost fall over.
So you've never fallen off the treadmill?
I've never actually fallen off the treadmill completely.
I'm just trying to imagine you falling off the treadmill and like breaking your nose or leg, but you have a decision on like 3 tables and you like have like bleeding, like on the floor, like trying to like get up on the desk, and you're like, what do I like? You know what I don't like. Yeah, have you ever thought? I guess if you ever thought about that happening, what do you do in that spot?
I mean, I guess I just finished the hand. Yeah, one time it was a long time ago. One time I was playing a pot, and my aunt was in the kitchen, and she lit the entire kitchen on fire, and the fire alarm started blaring, and the entire house was filling with smoke. And I was in like a 6K pot, which is like my biggest pot ever at the time, against the cleaner. And I was trying to finish the pot before the house like started burning uncontrollably.
Wait, what? Wait a second, what? How big's the fire are we talking here?
I mean, we're talking like, 3-foot flames.
Wait, so you're on the computer. Are you on a laptop or a desktop?
Laptop.
Okay, you're on a laptop. There's a 3-foot fire going on. How far from you?
6 feet. 6 to 8 feet.
Okay. So what's the break even? Like, how big does the fire have to be, or how big or small does the pot have to be? Like, where's that point that sort of intersects where you maybe put the laptop down and you like, well, how big's the fire got to be? So let's say there's a 6K pot versus the cleaner. How big does that fire need to be before you decide to do something about the fire and neglect the 6K pot?
I mean, I think it's sizzling arm hair. That's clear. You know, once your arm hair starts sizzling, then it's time to beat it out the screen door. But other than that, you just got to put in the last bet and hope.
What happened to the fire?
We called the fire department, and then she was trying to work the fire extinguisher as I was finishing the pot. So I went all in, jumped up from the thing, and started fighting the fire while the cards were running out.
So it's an all-in on the fly. What would you have, like the best hand? Who was it? So you're.
I don't even remember the details, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah, but I fought the fire and then I went back to playing. So I don't think the treadmill desk is going to stop me.
So what happened with the place?
Well, like, we fought the fire and the fire department came, and then I just kept playing. I mean, throughout this whole thing. And then the fire department came and they like were screwing around in the fuse box and they turned off the power while I was in another thing. And then I started yelling at the fire department to turn the power back on so I could finish the pot.
Wait, what year was this?
I mean, this is like 2008.
Scale of 1 to 10. How big of a degenerate do you think you were at that point in time where you were getting mad at the fire department for helping to put out a fire in your aunt's place?
Yeah, pretty big. It's hard to put a number on.
Wow. Okay, buddy. Okay, let's fast forward to present day.
All right.
How big's the pot need to be if you're at your aunt's house and our fire breaks out? What's your thought process in that situation? Same thing happens. You're in a pot, fire starts out. Well, of course, your aunt might live in Canada in this situation.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think I could do both at once now. Like, I think I could do the fire extinguisher with one hand and, finish the pot with the other.
I mean, we could sim this actually in Vegas. If you like.
I mean, we could just light the Bellagio on fire and just see who leaves with the chips.
It's an idea.
I mean, it's not
an extreme idea, but that's an idea. It's an idea. You ever lit something on fire, Ben? You got something you want to? Yeah.
No, I mean, no. I don't have any hidden pyro fantasies.
You know what? Maybe we gotta disinvite you from the gathering, buddy. You're trying to you're like me to like the place. Oh, you guys, I'm burning this motherfucker down, man. See the regs, and then you just you light the place on fire, and then we're GG. Shower. We're hitting the showers, and we're GG. Oh, man. All right. Well, Metalhead. Shout out to my boy Metalhead, man. One of the biggest fans on Twitter, on YouTube. He actually brings up a really great point, and I don't know, genuinely don't know the answer to this question. Has Sauce, and we talk about this a lot for this your first time. Has Sauce ever used a pee bottle while being on the treadmill? Could be the ultimate GTO move.
I haven't, but I aspire to. Someday.
So what, are you one of those noobs that just sits out and goes to the bathroom, or what's your?
Well, like I do a lot of one tabling and two tabling these days, and so you can time the pee break during like when your time bank gets big enough. So I'm post pee bottle, I think.
Wait a second, I never thought about this. Hold on a second. So you build your time bank up, keeping in the back of your mind future bathroom breaks in mind, and then so what decision do you like have to balance when you use that time bank and go to the bathroom sort of thing, or is it like oh
yeah, it's GTO. There's layers and layers and layers here.
Yeah, because like I'm sure like maybe you want someone to think you had a hard spot, so then you like time down, you like run to the bathroom, knowing already, and then you come back and you're like, all right, let me
yeah. I mean, definitely when I'm bluffing on the river and I know they're gonna tank for a little while, that's a prime bathroom break.
Shit, man. Okay. Have you thought about this a lot, do you think?
Yeah, think enough. I've got some plans.
Is there like I wonder if there's like a website you can put this in like PPT or something like that, and you can like maybe like write down maybe a spreadsheet, put down different scenarios and like what you. I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Depends how like really heavy you want to get in. Maybe like you and Ike can talk about this at the table. Like Ike, how do you approach going to the bathroom when you're playing? Are you a piss bottle guy? Or are you one of those noobs that goes to the bathroom? And how do you do it? And maybe you guys can share some sort of super.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the drawbacks of sharing the poker space with a bunch of other guys is that the pee bottles, don't really get brought out. You don't want to use the pee bottle around a bunch of other guys.
How many tables we play in this scenario?
I mean, however many. I mean, I would, I've used the pee bottle, maybe once or twice lifetime. I mean, I really never got into it.
You're missing out. It's enlightening. Like it's a liberating feeling to just enjoy your computer, enjoy your poker while you also enjoy, the water or the drinking.
Okay. Where do you draw the line? What about the guys at the live poker table, who play live poker in the diaper? Do you aspire to have the diaper?
That's a great question. And I got to be honest with you. Oh, that's a great question, Sauce. It's a great question. It's a great question. So,
how are you going to make the diaper seem cool? This is the real question.
Well, I feel like in that scenario, you'd wear big sweatpants. So I think like that would be, you'd wear big sweatpants, maybe like a big hoodie that sort of covers it up. That way your diaper, like you're not going to be like, yeah, like, hey, Ben, check this out, I'm wearing a fucking diaper right now. You're going to have it in. Like, what do you think there's no one that wears a diaper at live poker?
No, there are. There's confirmed diaper wearers at live poker.
You have any name? You know any people? You got receipts on this? Who are the?
I don't have receipts, but I have a strong sort of impression that someone's told me this story, and obviously it stuck with me.
Who's the person? Can we name a name? Allegedly?
I can't name a name.
Allegedly. We're not confirmed. Allegedly.
No. I don't even remember who it was. I just know that this is a thing.
Wow. I mean, it's fucking gross.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
What the fuck?
I know.
Disgusting. You said, bro. Fuck, man.
Oh,
and this is what you live players do with yourselves. You play live poker with these animals, these barbarians that wear this. Oh wow. Okay. So how do you approach live poker personally? Like when you go to Vegas, like how do you get a game going? Like, do you have like a list of people you call? Do you just go to the Bellagio and you're trying to play high stakes mixed games? Like, what's the segueing we're segueing off of live poker into this right here, by the way.
Right. Okay. So live poker in Bobby's room at the Bellagio is like way better than any other form of live poker that exists that I've ever played, because it's kind of like the degenerate clubhouse. So like you get there and you get there at like, maybe noon, maybe later, whenever you want to get there. And there's like 3 poker tables there and there's like a couch and you can get free food and shit. And it's kind of a nice place to hang out. And then everyone kind of sits there until everyone gets too degenerate where you just have to start playing something. That's kind of what happens a lot. And then once you do that, it's a mixed game, right? So it's kind of like a playground style draft. So you sit down and you have like 30 different cards of like every poker game that's ever been played. And then you and the other guy who's like kind of trying to hustle you, but kind of isn't also and just wants to play poker, just sort of draft some games until you can find a mix that you're able to play together.
Is it like a regular group of people you anticipate playing with in Vegas this summer? Or is it kind of just like, we'll see who's there and that sort of thing?
Well, that's how games start. Like, is like what I'm describing. Like people just kind of like putting something together, and then new players come in and they say like, I'm not going to play that unless you add these games and subtract these games. And then people say okay or not okay. So it's like a constant process of negotiation is basically what I'm saying. And then
go ahead.
Well, and then also there's like more regular games that are running around some kind of, you know, special player where they kind of make the rules because whatever games they want to play, they get to play. But when it's all pros playing with each other, everyone sort of gets to negotiate.
Special player, huh?
A special player.
Huh. A special. We traditionally call them fun players. Now we have special player. You think who do you think's who would you rather play with, a special player or a fun player?
I would say the fun player.
Oh. So these special players aren't that fun, or are they fun sometimes?
Well, I think they're synonyms, the special player and the fun player, or the celebrity player.
There's got to be levels. So there's got to be one that's like slightly above the tier. There's tiers. You know, there got to be one that you'd rather prefer playing with.
I think once you get to like very high stakes poker, there aren't tiers. They just all have names. Like, oh, it's this guy.
Oh, so there's like I'm trying to think of like a very epic special player on the internet right now, but that you might play with at high stakes. I'm not sure. Maybe Boho. Maybe Bojo. Shout out to Bojo. I actually think Bojo's watching because I know who he is. So is there like a Bojo of live poker when you see him come in, you're like, shit's going down. We're getting action right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Of course.
Huh. That sounds like, so you're not playing many tournaments, I'm taking it. You're going to play a 25K PLO and maybe the 10K PLO, or that's it?
Yeah, I'll play those two. I'm going to play the 50K horse or the 50K 8 game. Hopefully I'm going to play the 500K and maybe a couple others. The main, obviously. Mm-hmm. There might be another like unmissable tournament. I'm not sure. So I think those are the main ones.
When you're sitting here, you're thinking about playing the 500K, like what you just said, maybe. So what's like, that's like a lot of guys watching right now, they're like, maybe you might just play a 500K. Okay, that makes sense. Like, what's the breaking point where you said, I'm going to play 500K?
Well, I mean, I'm personally not going to have 500K of myself. I'm going to have a relatively small piece.
Oh my! All right, guys, that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
We thought Sauce said 500. We thought, yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm no jeans, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about rounding up investors, basically. But it's kind of fun. During the World Series, there's just so much money sort of sitting in the Bellagio or in the Aria on any given day. You can kind of just sit there and like raise the money by just people who are winning and want to just gamble on putting someone in a huge tournament, and then you can just like fire. I mean, that's pretty much how I'm handling it.
Wait, I got to hold on a second. All right. So we're role playing now. We just hopped to the Aria Casino, shot that at Maltwise, by the way. Runs a nice Aria poker room. I'm excited to see him when I'm out there. So you're sitting there. Are you at a table, or are you at the, so like there's the entrance. Are you at the slot machine right there, just like sitting there with the beer, like with a backpack on? Are you back in the Ivy's room? Like where are you sitting at when you're raising money? Like what do you look for? Like a guy with a big stack, or are you offering them yourself? Are they coming to, like, is it?
No, like there's just people who will want to put people in the 500K. That's a thing that people want to do.
And you kind of have an idea of who these people are previous to when you go there. So you go there, you're like bum money, there's like looking if they're winning, and then you mention to someone else. Like how
No, I would never go up to someone and just ask to raise money. I mean, I think generally they'd like ask me if I was going to play and might ask for a piece. I mean, it's good for people to have a piece. It should be plus EV.
Wow, man, that's interesting. All right, so I guess if others aspire to do that, you go, man, that's okay. So what's the deciding factor if you're going to play then?
Raising money, like, because I might be too lazy to raise the money. So
tell you what, Ben, I'm going to be in Vegas, right? if you really need someone to help, I'd like to just do it just because I think it'd be entertaining. I'll raise the money. And I promise I'll raise it for you. I 100% will make sure we get it raised.
There's also issues like, I don't know, I have to do a little research on like the tax implications. There's like some thread on 2+2 about all the American staking people, and I have to get up to speed on that. That's one of the main things I'm talking about. And I don't know if I'm like allowed to piece out and then do it completely by the book, which is something that I would want to do. So if I can't do that, then maybe I can't play. Or yeah, so.
Would you be charging at a markup potentially, or would you sell at face?
I actually have no idea what the market is like for that event. I think if not face, then very close to face, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
I think I've been seeing people sell for like 1.01 or something like that. Most people that I've been seeing sell, I think maybe it's very small, maybe 1.1, but I feel like it's even smaller than 1.1 I've been seeing online that people are selling for it. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's another issue too, which is that like as the date of that tournament draws nearer, like how soft the field is will kind of take shape. So like in some ways it's counterproductive to sell now because the markup that you're going to be able to charge or not charge is going to be changing as the field changes. So a lot of last minute decisions kind of have to be made about that kind of thing.
So, but I guess for some people it's probably better if the field right now is allegedly going to be the people that are registered that are supposed to be playing, then right now it's probably a good time for some people that might be on the fringe to be able to raise that money to really get in there and try to raise money. Therefore, if a lot of those guys drop out, well, then it becomes more challenging. You have people that you have like a Sauce steps in, you're like, hey, I want to play too. Well, if you can back a Sauce, or if you can back someone else, I don't know any names specifically, I think a lot of people are going to choose to probably go with you in that specific tournament. So it might be better for most people.
I don't know though, because there's like some certain tournament mechanics that like I've definitely studied. I made some videos and like ICM stuff, and I've done some studying and grinding with like hold'em resources. But like someone like you know, obviously has just played so many tournaments, or like Scott Seaver or those kind of guys. So they're both like really great no limit hold'em players who also know all the tournament stuff. And there's also the whole galaxy of like tournament players who just specialize in tournaments. So it's kind of an open question whether I'm even close to as good value, better value, equal value as some of these more tournament focused guys. And that's not something that I'm in a position to answer. It's kind of something the market has to decide.
Interesting. Well, I guess obviously you probably wouldn't play it unless you thought you were. I mean, you weren't. Would you play it if you thought you were minus EV, or would you?
Oh God, no. There's no way I'm minus EV in that tournament.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm
going on a limb. You know, it's really hard to. I feel like it'd be hard for you to be minus EV in something.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something that you are potentially minus EV in? Is there a certain game or a certain lineup at PLO or No Limit or maybe mixed games that you sometimes might play in that you might not feel like you have an edge in?
Oh God, yeah. I play in games I have an edge in fairly often. Just because like you have to get things going. Like sometimes you want to play in, or I want to play in tough games to test myself and like see what really good players are doing, things like that. And there's also some sort of like future EV to be had by being the guy who's like not afraid to back down and will play in crappy games to like hold the lobby or things like that. And that's something I'm not afraid to do on occasion.
Do you think a lot of other regulars share that same sentiment when it comes to their approach towards poker? Do you feel like a lot of people have sort of gone away from that and now they're more focused on the EV? Every situation's got to be plus EV or super plus EV for them to decide to play in that game or against that opponent?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough now because like poker's been around a long time now, and there's a lot of poker pros who have been around a long time. And like a lot of guys have made a decent amount of money at poker, you know, especially, yeah. So like a lot of guys have more money than they're willing to play poker. Like there's guys who are playing 2-5 who have like huge bankrolls because they're just not going to play bigger than 2-5. Like, why would they? Games just aren't good, which I think is very reasonable. But so what ends up happening is that, like when you get a very big game, sorry, I'm getting lost a little bit here, but can you repeat the question?
The question was in terms of other poker players now playing instead of playing in games that they're always playing plus EV games. Basically, they don't share the same approach you do, where you sometimes will put yourself in minus EV spots, knowing you want to get better at battle. Whereas now a lot of people, and you were mentioning that a lot of people playing 2-5, they still have a lot of money. Like they never want to put themselves in that situation.
Yeah, because like they have all this money, but they don't really have any way to like gain that much more necessarily, like in a quick way. So like, there's a huge number of people who are able to play in a big game if there's one really weak player who's going to be in the game who are willing to take that shot. But there's very few people who are willing to battle day in and day out for the opportunity to always take that shot, I guess is what I'm saying.
So what do you think about a player who maybe chose that route where he maybe didn't play higher than 5-10, 2-5, 3-6, and now, you know, he sort of laughs at or looks down on other players who maybe did take a little different approach where they tried to battle at the high stakes against tough players. What would you think of that type of poker player? Would you think that's a respectful poker player or a disrespectful poker player?
I don't know. I mean, it's not my personality, that's for sure. But I feel like it's counterproductive. Like I used to just go off on guys like that. Like I just couldn't handle it, and it would just drive me crazy. But you know, I get older, and you realize how tough poker has become, and the swings that people are going through. And I start to realize that, you know, people just have different risk tolerances and different personalities, and for better or for worse, you kind of just have to live with it, I think.
Someone in the chat, tell me where I just referenced right there, because I mentioned it only once or twice, and if you can, then I'll finish the reference. But if not, I'm never going to bring it up again, and I'm literally never going to talk about it again. So I got a shout. Alex Wangs in the chat said first time watching live, enjoyed the podcast. Shout out to Alex. Alex in Chicago, and I work with card runners. I think he might still work with card runners, and I think he still works with card runners. Yeah, I think so. All right. Yeah. People are asking questions, by the way. I can kind of see some of the questions as we come along, but towards the end, I'll bring up the question when I say give you some questions. That way, the questions will get lost sort of in the chat. Right now, like I'm looking, but at the same time, I'm not really looking at it. So we can probably save a lot of the GTO questions till later. Unless you have a follow-up to something, then you can kind of say that, and I might see it and get after it. So a lot of people want to talk about a specific challenge that you played in at some point in time against, you know, a friend of mine, someone I've known for quite a long time, WCG rider, Doug Polk.
Of course.
What are we Wong? Okay, Alex Palm. Yeah, so what I guess for those that don't know, you played a heads up no limit challenge against WCG rider. The side bet was, how much was the side bet?
I don't remember. 100K, maybe more.
100K. I think it was, I honestly don't remember. But
I don't remember.
Unfortunately, you took the loss in that situation. And I guess looking back on that, what's your thoughts on that whole situation? How it turned out? I guess how the action went. You think you would again? It'd be a different result, or what's your thought process on it?
Well, I think at the time, I mean, I think it's become really apparent now that Doug is, I would say the best at heads up no limit, and probably by a decent margin. It seems like no one is willing to play him, and when people do play him, they seem to lose. And the people who do play him are all top 10 players. So I think not saying that he's the best at heads up no limit right now would be kind of crazy. At the time, I think I had a really bad attitude towards my opponents. So what had been happening is I'd been playing heads up no limit for a long time, and there was a period where I was a fairly long period where I was one of the best heads up no limit players. And then I started getting into PLO, and I was playing a lot of PLO, and I was still playing heads up no limit on the side, but not dedicating as much time to it. But I thought that if I ever really wanted to buckle down and learn the game again, I could just beat anyone. And then Doug was playing, and he was playing a different style, which we now know was just way better than what everyone else was doing, with a different approach, which was much more exploitative and much more much more exploitative. Let's put it that way. And I was just no, I'll figure out how to beat this guy. It'll be fine. And so I just did, and I fired. And it became apparent that Doug was a lot better than me, and it wasn't really close at the time. And I had created this really elaborate strategy that I thought was going to balance well, and I had this sort of broad overarching vision of how it was going to go. And then it worked okay for the first couple sessions, and then Doug really picked it apart and looked at some really some big card removal issues that were apparent in my strategy, and a lot of other things, and just really hyper exploited it and just crushed me. To his credit, obviously. So I think that's a pretty good summary of the challenge. So I think if it happened again, I would choose a better strategy and I would still be a significant underdog.
Have you talked about doing something at Heads Up PLO ever potentially? Because he's been playing some PLO, dabbling in it, trying to get better at it.
I think it's fair to say that Doug doesn't like gambling unless he thinks he has the best of it, just like many of us. But I think that he is maybe less prone to hubris than some of the rest of us. Like I've had various times like that where I was just like, no, I'm gonna figure out how to beat this guy sometime. I think Doug usually is very sure of himself before entering into gambling situations.
So I guess we probably won't see a Heads Up PLO rematch, or I guess a rematch, technically the challenge. We probably won't see that anytime soon. Maybe, I mean, a couple of years, you never know.
You never know. We played a little bit of half no limit, half PLO fairly recently. But the match didn't last that long, and it didn't seem like it was something that either of us wanted to like spend a ton of time playing.
Makes
so
sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess people wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I mean, I'd like. It was you know, going into it, I remember that you were playing. I was actually really surprised you took the challenge because you were like big into PLO. Like a lot of people were talking to you. They're like, Sauce is one of the best PLO players right now, Heads Up PLO. And you kind of started playing a little bit no limit time, but I was confused. Like, I was like, why would he take this challenge for like this much money against Doug, who is like been focusing on it now, obviously, many hours a day for the last couple of years, whereas you've kind of been putting most of your thought process into getting really, really good at PLO. So it, like, how much crossover do you feel like is there between Heads Up PLO and Heads Up No Limit for your own game, or do you feel like it's just really different approach, mindset, thought process in general?
I mean, I just had way too much money at the time, basically. I was trying to figure out a way to lose some of it, and I figured it out. I never did dumb things with money except for play poker with it. And I was always like, whenever I was winning a ton in poker, I would just like play anybody and anything until I like didn't have enough money to do that anymore. And like, yeah, like I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be better than Doug, blah 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 blah. But in hindsight, like, was I really? Doesn't look like it. I mean, I was very confident going in, but it like in hindsight, that confidence was completely misplaced. So
I feel like marriage may have tamed you a little bit when it comes to this quality of yours, poker wise.
I don't know about that. There's always fun poker games to play.
I mean, it's spoken like a degenerate in a way. That's like an Isildur sort of approach, except he might be slightly more. I guess there's another that's a whole other animal when it comes to spewing money away. But
yeah, I don't know.
Have you bought anything interesting that would be considered, I guess, baller by some people's definition?
Not really. I don't think.
No,
pretty much nothing.
No apartment with a slide in it. No Ferrari. No trip to space or anything like that.
No, not yet.
No. Do you have like a plan to maybe buy some property in Toronto, or is there any sort of like? Are you thinking about ways to potentially diversify in terms of where your money's at investing or real estate or anything like that?
I should be. Like at the end of the day, I just don't care that much about money, which is kind of a problem. I think I would have been like a big dog to ever have very much money going in, except I just like got really into poker. So like when I was able to beat much lower stakes, like $1, $2, $2, $4, I was like, all right, like I'm paid, like my life expenses are taken care of. I don't have to worry about money ever again. This is amazing. You know, I can like splurge, I can go out to nice meals, I can do whatever I want. And then like more money on top of that, like never really changed my life particularly much. And so I should be more responsible with money. I have some investing plans that I thought were fun to think about, and then I haven't actually executed yet because I'd rather just get up and play poker. So got to get on that.
I mean, I can very strongly relate to that, like general idea in terms of like you kind of growing up. You're like, I mean, you don't expect respect. I didn't expect to ever like get a bunch of money. I mean, I think you probably might have been a little different bracket than I was at the time. But I mean, once I like got to like, you know, 10K, I'm like, fuck, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see what we got. Like that. Right. And in a way, I'm still like that. I guess that's my tastes have sort of evolved over the years. As you have more money, obviously, you start liking a little bit fancier accommodations. You might start liking a little bit fancier meals. Maybe you like a little fancier clothes. But still, like I'm still like I was always been the same way. Where like money, you know, it comes and goes. I mean, it kind of, you can always make some. You don't need a lot really to sort of live your life and be happy. And which then leads to very minus EV situations, which I definitely put myself in plenty.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with that. Like I always played poker more like process oriented. Like, oh, I love to play poker. I love to get better. I love to compete, and less for like financial goals, like how much money I make. I'm trying to be a little bit more responsible these days, but it's tough.
It is. I mean, I wonder, like, because I've been. I mean, I feel like I've gotten a little more. I mean, a little bit, but that's just a function of there aren't that many high stakes to play online. There's so much more like if it was like the situation on Stars before, there's 25, 50, 5100. Like I would be very happy. I'd move the cat. I'd be back there because there's something to chase. Right now, there's not much to like aspire to do. That was always one of the biggest reasons I ever made it to high stakes, was because there was like you could aspire, you can move up the way, you can take steps up there. Now it's like 10, 20 or nothing. That's it. There's nothing else really ever runs regularly above the stakes. So it kind of like hurts your motivation for even wanting to.
Yeah, high stakes online is kind of a joke now. Like I'm at the point where I can play all the limit games if the game is soft, and I can play no limit and PLO at all the high. So I have like the entire spectrum of high stakes is open to me to play if it runs. And like I still get in like, on a bad month, 8K hands a month or something. At like totally heterogeneous stakes. And so like you just can't be assured of getting a decent sample size in a given year, like ever. It's just like, I mean, it's really frustrating.
What was that word you just said? Heterogeneous?
Yeah, I mean like I might be playing some 25-50 and some 200-400 and some 100-200 and some PLO, just like lots of different stakes.
Is that what heterogeneous is defined as?
I think so.
Well, I fucking know. I've never heard that word in my life, kid. I gotta get the dictionary over here. I know heterogeneous, huh? Okay.
Yeah, like homogeneous milk is like the milk that's all blended together, so that there's no like impurities.
Okay, sounds like organic milk. I sounds like organic milk to me, but maybe it's not homogeneous.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever think about maybe just playing lower stakes, or is like the challenge not there? I mean, in terms of if the money doesn't matter, or you're not really motivated by money, then maybe, I mean, I guess obviously you're not competing debatably against the best players in the world by doing that. So that why you don't want to, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's still like just enough action online to make me like able to swing it, to play higher. And if every month was like this June when everybody's at the World Series and it's just like Alari one tabling for an hour and a half a day or something, like I couldn't swing it, and I would need to be playing like 2-5 through 10-20 all the time. But I think I can still just barely do it for maybe a couple more years until games either get better or get worse.
Do you think if the bots come, you can beat the bots, or do you find that challenging? Like I find the idea kind of challenging. Like, I'm kind of weird. I'm thinking about it. I was like, because like you always suspect on the untracked Euro sites, there's certainly a lot of like questionable activity happening on like an iPoker or even maybe 888 or Party. There's certainly some shady shit happening. But now that I'm like confirmed bots happening, I'm like kind of excited. Like I kind of want to go break down the bots game and like figure out what's happening with them and then go play against them. Obviously, I know they're going to change their strategies because they're watching the podcast now and they're reading it. Everyone's telling them what they're doing and how we're spotting them. But at the same time, it's interesting suspecting these Eastern European accounts are actually bots.
Yeah, maybe like the GTO thing to do is get all the regs who are real humans together in a chat and just be like, look, we're going to share everything we know about these bots because we all want to beat these bots.
Well, Ben, that's funny you should mention that because I actually started a chat like that 2 days ago, and so if you're interested in joining the chat, I have to know. Everyone in the chat I've known. I'm not saying there couldn't be an inside man in this chat, but I've met most of the people in real life, and I've known most of them for years through the community, or I talk to them, or I have a friend who I trust their opinion that can know that person, and that's kind of what we've been doing. We've been talking about in terms of pretty much everything, like what suspected other accounts, how we potentially spot them, how to play against them, what they're doing, like looking at everything. So that's kind of already happening right now.
Well, if there's ever any no limit hold'em bots that are on Stars, let me know, and I'll definitely make some run at once videos about beating the bots. That'd be a lot of fun.
Okay, now I was thinking about this. There's like, okay, if it took Schwein who put in not a very big hours of work to spot the bots, and he did. Imagine what's happening at these no limit games where the player pool is so big, like NL50, NL100, even NL200 to some degree. There has to be, and if players aren't policing it themselves, there's got to be some some sick shit happening in those games. Like I can't imagine how it doesn't how it's not happening.
Yeah, I have no idea, but it could be, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about video making, and there's been some interesting feedback about your videos, my friend. There's certainly. What have you heard? What kind of stuff have you heard about your videos?
I've heard like there's two big streams, which is like the first is that they seem to be really well liked on Run It Once for the most part. Like people seem to say good things about them for the most part. Then also some people really don't like them. Particularly, I think like, already very excellent players. And I think they definitely tend to appeal more to the sort of GTO crowd and less to the let's make as much money as possible, like exploitative crowd.
Yeah, I was in San Diego, and I believe I was with my friend Cosmo. Shout out to Cosmo. I know you're watching this. Cosmo, I know you're sitting there in your living room, got the big screen TV on, maybe your wife's fiance doing something in the other room, the dog's running around. I know you're watching this right now. You're confused why I'm talking to you right now, but I believe Cosmo said, he's like, Joe, you think Sus is just trolling is he fucking around? You think he's being serious? Is he fucking with everyone? I was like, you know what? That's a great question, John. I'm going to ask him when we get him on a podcast one day. And I'm happy to ask you the question now, and I'm curious to hear your answer.
No, I'm not. I'm not screwing with everyone in the videos. I think a lot of people who don't think about this GTO stuff that much might perceive them that way. Like I think Tyler Forrester is like another, excellent video maker. Google's knows.
I love
and
him.
Like a lot of people think he's leveling his videos too, I think.
Wow. I don't even like play No Limit, but I love watching that guy. Like I love his like, oh, this is a full, no, this is 10-7, it's gonna be a full, and then he like limps 2-7 in the he does really weird shit, but I love his video. I just like hearing his thought process because I feel like you could think about it and apply it to your game, which is
yeah. I think so. Like one of the things in my videos is like I often say like it doesn't matter, I don't know, et cetera, and I think that people are probably would prefer that I gave them something they could like go out there and use immediately in like a more concrete way. Like, yeah, this bet makes this much money, go out and do it, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think if you look at, there's all these new programs out here, there's all these GTO solvers that are out there. Do you know about these?
I'm pretty sure, is this No Limit based or is it PLO based as well?
No Limit based.
Yeah, I never like look at No Limit strategy. I watch the videos on Run It Once because I think they're like, I watch watching your videos because they're like fun. They're in different perspectives to think about.
So yeah, there's a couple of these things that like you like input a flop and you give some details to the program and it kind of like solves it for you and tells you what to do. And there's a lot of spots in No Limit where you're playing what's called mixed. Well, I'm not saying this for you. I'm saying this for the viewers. But you're playing what's called mixed strategies, which means it tells you to play the same hand in different ways, certain percentages. So like it says, bet king 50%, check king 50%. And one of the properties of every mixed strategy in poker is that the EV of both parts of the mix must be equal. Otherwise, you just take the higher EV option. Mm-hmm. So like if betting was worth 1 and checking was worth 0, you just always bet. So if you have to do both some percent, they both have to be worth the same amount. And
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because as Zachary asked a question, which I was gonna follow up with, which is why do you make videos? Why do you start making videos? Why do you still make videos, especially now when I feel like your information could potentially be very valuable to sometimes people you might be playing with? Are you just that confident that people that you're playing with aren't gonna like, it takes effort sometimes to listen to someone else and then be like, oh, I think he makes a point, I'm gonna actually do that. Or you just think people that you play with aren't just gonna not do that at all?
Well, I don't put all the exploitative stuff and I don't usually play 25, 50 plus in my videos. So some of the stuff that like the very high stakes guys are doing wrong doesn't make it into the video most of the time. That's one thing. Second is that like executing all this stuff is really intricate and sometimes it's not straightforward to like based on the way I play, which is pretty balanced. Even if they kind of have a relative idea of what I'm doing, it's not straightforward to counter exploit me, I don't think. So I think my style lends itself to not like losing that. Like if Barry Sweet was making videos all day, I think we could, kind of figure him out a bit more. So
we're picking up Barry Sweet again.
Well, I just mean he's a guy who's going to get inside your head, or like a Laurie or something. One of these guys who are very exploitative approach. And I think mostly I just like it. Like people seem to like the videos. Like I obviously really enjoy poker and enjoy talking about poker, and it's something that I'm able to communicate and share with people in a way that I think works for everyone. I think the viewers are happy to pay for it. I'm pretty happy to make videos, and I think it kind of works out.
You've been making videos for quite a long time now. I believe you started back on Lego poker back in the day, and would it go Lego somewhere else, or did it just go Lego Run It Once?
Lego Run It Once.
What was your initial, I guess, motivation for getting into it back then at Lego poker? What were you playing? Were you playing the high stakes still as well? I think there was a lot more action at the high stakes then, some more opportunity for your opponents to potentially learn your thought process and potentially learn from it or take advantage of it.
Yeah, maybe I'm just gonna take a step back and be like, I think people are way too focused, like my peers who have been asked to make videos, especially a lot of guys say no because they think that they're giving away too much. I think there's just like obvious value to be had in like being part of a community and being able to talk to different people and being able to interact with people. And I think that's something that you found with the podcast. Like when you started doing the podcast, you weren't like, oh yeah, I'm taking away, N hours a week from grinding. And I would never do that. Why would I do that? It's my ICV. What's the podcast getting me? Probably hasn't gotten you that much, financially yet, right? I mean, maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I don't know. But I mean,
not compared to. I mean, I compared to grinding, right? Poker days this year than I made from anything podcast related multiple times. So yeah, it's certainly like comparable to PLO. It's not even in the same stratosphere for sure.
That's what I mean. And so, but like people don't come up to you all the time and be like, why do you do it, Joey? You're so stupid. You know what I mean? And like, I feel the same way about video making. Like, it's fun. I like it. Like, what's the problem?
That's a really good point. I guess in that situation, well, I mean, in a way, I'm given some. You do get some certain approach strategy to poker, lifestyle, mindset. Like a mindset strategy, I feel like helps out a lot. It can help out a lot for poker. And obviously, you have some people on here who give away some great knowledge, great ideas, something to think about. And I mean, in a way, I am making strategy videos, which is certainly something. When I started out, I said I didn't want to make strategy videos, but in a way, it's life strategy videos.
Yeah. I think like one of the biggest cancers of like being a professional gambler and a professional poker player is like applying like economic thinking to every facet of your life. Like thinking of every moment you spend in your life is like an economic decision, because it's like, so what? Are you even living after a certain point? Like, yeah, go have fun sometimes.
I mean, yeah, I obviously like in this cutthroat seat script bum hunt era, it's like I play poker for money. That's it, and like that's me. And I that's fine. Everyone's got their own approach. It's certainly not the approach I take. I would be making much more different decisions if I had played poker only for money. I'm the same way. I like having fun. I like the challenge. And there's someone actually, Muay. I wanted to mention this comment he just said. He said MUIY. I don't know how to say your name, buddy. He said these guys are not surprisingly unconcerned about bots. I thought Joey would be a bit more worried. So obviously I'm worried about the bots taking money away from, like, when you think about the food chain of poker, it kind of works its way up. And obviously if the bots are taking away, 500,000 in rakeback, for instance, if they're taking away $1 million from the tables, I'm not concerned about playing against them. Like I like to challenge. It's fun. I'd play against bots all the time if it would help my game and I could learn from it. But I'm concerned about it taking money away from those other people and letting people move up, more people to compete against. That's what does concern me. And the future, obviously, because the bots, I'm sure, are only going to evolve. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally unfair. It's taking money from a lot of people in the mid-stakes and low-stakes economy, for sure. But I mean, like, at a certain stage, what can you do? You can quit poker, you can tell stars, you can, like, raise awareness about it. But, I mean, there's not much more you can do.
That's always the approach I've taken on everything. Like, when something, there's, like, you can complain or you can, like, figure out a way to move past it and embrace it and figure out a way to fucking take care of it. Like, and
I guess you could get outraged and get people more excited about the cause, which maybe like some of the viewers want us or me to do. And like I am, like I think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think that people should be pushing back against stars, or not that stars isn't trying to solve the issue, but saying that this is important to us. We're really mad about this. It's taking away from our bottom line. Mm-hmm. We think that your security systems aren't catching all the bots. We want to help. Let's get these guys out of the games and let's punish them. Like, okay, I'm totally in support of all that, But that's just like, that's the extent of what we can do. I don't think there's much more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there probably is some, I don't really like, I made a couple posts in the thread and like, I was like, when I first saw it, like, I'm like, wow, holy fuck. Like, especially like Fedor, I couldn't believe that guy was I didn't think he was a bot. Like I've a lot of friends play with him all the time. I've seen a lot of his hands on Russian PTR. Obviously, like that's one account, like when you're watching games, I thought he like seemed like he played pretty well when he was playing in some tough lineups. And then to figure out like there's a bot that's doing that. And I've said this before, I feel like that could be like he could be the ringleader of the group where he plays higher stakes on, semi-bot, and he plays lower stakes, turns his bot on. You never know, but it's just like, I'm more stunned than outraged. I'm not upset because there's terrible shit happening in online. There's people that are doing shit that I'm sure if people knew you'd be crazy, but you can only do so much to some extent, really. So
yeah.
It's kind of the cost of doing business, and then have you thought about playing more live poker at all? Like, has that come into play for you?
I like live poker. I want to play more in the coming couple of years, especially just because it's a good way to meet people who, especially the high stakes, who are successful doing other things, and just to talk to them about their lives, hear their stories, things like that. Because I mean, I don't plan on playing this level of competitive poker forever. I mean, trying to be competitive, the highest stakes of online poker is like a lot of work. And it's leads to the exclusion of like other parts. I mean, 86 talked about this. I remember it's like, you can balance it with the rest of your life, but like you have to be in there, like studying and looking at the games and being in the games and doing all this stuff every day, basically, to remain in top form. And like at some point in my life, I think I want something that's like a little bit more low key.
What would be low key in your mind right now that you could potentially see yourself?
Well, I think relative to high stakes online poker, almost anything, right? So, I mean,
yeah, well, I mean, you want to be like a big entrepreneur, you want to like start a business. Like, I feel like that's not necessarily low key. Maybe you want, like, what do you envision? What do you see yourself potentially doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I watch these podcasts and I sympathize too with people like Ariel or someone who's like doing something that's like clearly good for the world and clearly altruistic. And I would love to find something where I enjoyed the process of doing it as much as poker. Like I was super into figuring out the GTO way to do this thing. And I'd like it to involve like people other than just myself, like have it be more social in nature and also have it help the world in some way. Those are like the three things that I'd like to find. Whether I ever will is an open question. Like, I think anyone, like I'm already really lucky and I'm happy with what I have, but maybe some kind of like vaguely altruistic entrepreneurship would be nice to do.
So I've gotten a different way I've been approaching situations because I share like the same, like I want to do something else outside of poker, but I feel like it's hard to just jump into something else. Like I'm sitting here playing poker all day and then all of a sudden I'm going to build the fucking rainforest in Africa. It's not going to work that way. So what I started doing is I adopted this idea that why don't I just start learning new things and really like trying to learn it, get into it, and kind of work steps. So I started rock climbing, for instance, and playing volleyball, and like just let's learn some new sports, but just get like kind of used to the process of embracing learning, and then sort of build up from there. But I just want to try new things, and that's kind of my approach for the next 6-7 months. Is just try different things. When someone's suggests you want to try something new, I go try it. And there's other ideas I have in my head that I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to research it, look into it, how I can get better. So that way, at some point, maybe I can, along the way, find something else that appeals to me on that level that I can then start doing more of.
Yeah, I think a good approach. I mean, that seems sweet too. I don't think you can force it too much either. Like I've had other points in my life where I like quit poker for like a fairly long time, like a year at a time. Just been like, no, like I want to like branch out and learn about all these other things, and like, my life is going by and like all these sort of like, thoughts.
For sure.
And like you realize that you're not just like able to pinpoint control where your life is going. Like I don't make all the decisions, I can't just be like, hey, I want to be interested in something that is exactly perfect and go find the perfect thing all the time. Like at the end of the day, like I really do enjoy playing poker and a lot of the things about it, it's pretty good. And if something better comes along, I'll jump ship and I'll go do that. But I don't think that it's a good way of enjoying my life to be always looking for perfection all the time.
For sure. And, so interesting you say that. and you could take relationships and meeting people as under the exact same way. Like I know me personally, back in the day, maybe still now, I'm always like, you see something and you're like, oh, there's something more perfect out there. There's something more perfect out there. And then you're like chasing this image in your head of this like perfect person instead of just maybe embracing your situation, embracing that person, making the best with that person instead of always chasing something else that might not exist.
Yeah, there's an interview with Matt Horolenko. It wasn't on your show. It was on the. He works in this like really high tech like quantitative psychology thing, and they specialize in relationships. And so in the interview, they're talking to Haas, and he's talking about his life, and he's gone through like some really academic stuff. He's been talking for like 25 minutes, and so the interviewer goes and he's like, so what do you think's the biggest thing that like makes people have successful relationships? And Haas goes and he says, it's people who want to have relationships, which sounds like really trivial at first, but then you think about it more and like the way he put it, and you're like, that kind of makes sense. Like, the people who have successful relationships like want to be in a relationship with another person. They want to like give up some stuff to like share in things. Like, I think that's very important. Having a relationship, you don't get to get up, watch TV for 2 hours every day before you really get going, go out and play basketball whenever you want. You sort of have to, accommodate things. And that, that means some quality of life sacrifices at certain times.
You just named the reason my last relationship failed, my friend, because I didn't want her. I didn't really want her. Like, that's why it did. That's a great thing. A lot of people, yeah, they don't want to give up these things. It takes sacrifices. They got to give up. I mean, in your relationship, would you feel like you've had to sacrifice some things? Do you feel like you've given up some things that? Yeah, I guess that's the question. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, you're living with another person who like needs and wants and things, and who should support you too. Obviously, like it's a mutually supportive thing where like you want to make each other better. Obviously, like you don't want to be one of those relationships where it's all one way. That's a bad relationship. But I mean, like even in the good ones, like you're not getting exactly what you want in the moment 100% of the time as much as you would otherwise.
It's a great point. When I always think about a good relationship, I feel like it's roses all the time. Perfect. This like perfect harmony of you want to grow together, the same things. You have the same goal. You guys are all working on the same path. But I guess really a good relationship is just something that might work 75% of the time or like 80% of the time. And you're always going to have those 20% of things that just you might not agree with or you might, butt heads on. But it's just that's cost of doing business almost.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that's what most like actual working relationships are like. But
well, I'm certainly not. I'm a professional dater. I'm a professional. I'm 1, 2, 3 dates. I am fucking playing such DTO. It's borderline scary. My win rate's been very scary for the past bunch of years.
Hey man, I'm not on my high horse here. Like people who are not in relationships, like more power to you. Okay, like I don't think being in a relationship is better or worse. Like I take no position there. I'm just trying to provide the other side of the coin to the typical Chicago Joey podcast.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've got some married. Well, you get LaForte, obviously.
LaForte is GTO as they come.
LaForte is playing. He's playing pretty as perfect as you can possibly be when it comes to this.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking. He gave me some interesting ideas. He gave me some really. You can only meet hot girls on Instagram. Did you know that?
Well, I know LaForte, so yeah.
Oh wait, does he actually he tells you about his dating life, his stories? He said we cannot talk about that on the podcast too.
Oh, well then by extension I can't talk about it in the podcast.
But he tells you.
Oh, he tells me a couple things. Okay. I'm out of date though because I was playing poker and sharing space with LaForte a year and a half ago. So the newest LaForte stories I haven't heard. Well,
we're gonna get him in Vegas, my friend. I'm curious too. I want to see some in action. I just want to see the man operate. I just want to sit back and watch. Maybe have a Corona. Maybe get a margarita or something like that. Maybe eat a quesadilla and just enjoy myself. And
yeah, I miss Mexican food. Being in Canada, it's brutal. You just can't get Mexican food.
Man, that was one good thing about San Diego was there's like a sick Mexican place everywhere, and I didn't really realize how much I liked actual like these debatably legitimate Mexican food until I had it there, and I was like, holy fuck, this stuff's like
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think makes like a good? I mean, sorry, somebody in the chat says please change topic. It's boring as fuck. Now I gotta be honest with you. Good day, sir. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the podcast, my friend. Sometimes we're gonna talk about some things that you might not. It's just how things go, man. If you don't like it, I understand. That's fine. You can fast forward. You can pause it. You can whatever. Keep the negative. All right, go ahead. What makes good Mexican food to you? Because I can't quite quantify what it is. I just think it's like exceptional. Some of the random janky places that I've kind of been to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all the same ingredients combined in what seems like the same way, but just sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not good.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's someone in the chat that there's not a lot of Mexicans in Canada. I thought that too. But when I was in Vancouver, I was there for less than a day, and I was standing out waiting to get an apartment, and a Mexican girl walked by. Shout out to Xenia, by the way, if you're watching this. I know you're not. But yeah, she walked by, and that was like the first girl I sort of had something with, a Mexican girl in Canada. I was like, I come to Canada, I meet a Mexican girl. Like, what I just moved from San Diego. What's happening here?
I don't know. Toronto is really low on Mexicans. There's like there's more people from like Central America, South America, but not as many people from Mexico that I've seen.
Do you live in like the suburbs? Do you live in a house?
No, I live downtown.
Oh, what do you live in? Like bomb shelter or something? What is this?
No, so I actually come over here to play poker and to work. I live, in another house.
You live in a house or like a high rise?
House.
Would you say the rent's higher than 3,000 CAD a month?
That's a question I'd prefer not to answer.
Would you say it's more than 5,000 CAD a month?
Definitely lower than that.
Okay.
Definitely much lower than that.
I mean, listen, if I'm you, and I'm rocking some borderline $10,000 a month accommodations.
Oh man, I can't. So my previous apartment, I just moved a couple of months ago. I felt good about paying. I think I paid like $1,400 a month, and that was the most I'd ever paid for an apartment till that point in my life by far. And so then I moved into a really nice place recently, at least for me. I'm still feeling a little bit guilty about it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can understand that. You don't feel guilty about maybe putting yourself in a very minus EV spot, but you feel guilty about paying $2,000 a month for an apartment.
Well, like consumption, it's like easy to consume more, but like a lot harder to go back for most people. You get like habituated to it,
Well, I've luckily been able to do that because I was always like, I lived in nice places that were, maybe above $5,000 a month rent just because I could. Like, it was fun. Like, why not?
Right, yeah.
Why not do it? It seemed like a good idea. But I didn't necessarily like crave that. Like, if I don't have this nice place, I'm going to fucking feel like a piece of shit. I want to, like, that's how some people literally feel. They feel like I can't go down. My life's a failure.
Yeah, I think I would feel like you felt and not like that, but I don't want to try.
Tempting, man. It's fun, it's like cool. You got a nice ocean view.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
But I mean, once you're married, though, what's the motivation there? I don't know. Is your wife what's her like type? Is she like one of the like fancy shopping, the clothes? Is she more like she's a teacher? You said, right?
Yeah.
She's like pretty modest.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, I mean like she's a girl. Like she does shop occasionally, but I mean I think she's into more of like the like bohemian thrift shop kind of thing more and less like the.
I love that. I fucking love that type of style. It's like the Coachella Music Festival type of style. I love that style so much. It's just like women can put that together. They're very attractive. That sort of style is just great. Yeah, it was. Is that one of the initial like attractions you guys had? Was it the style? Was it the personality? I mean, how do you get married, man? That's fucking great. Was it the Canadian citizenship?
No, it was not that. Not that. I was actually already here before Black Friday.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I've been here before that was an issue.
Sauce loves that winter, man. Living for winter, boy. Some of us live for sun. Sauce lives for the cold and the snow, man. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. A little slight deviation from GTO, but
True.
Whatever. All right, I gotta look at I haven't had to look on my list of things for the last for very long. I don't think I've actually looked at my list of things. I have like a very long list. I put down everyone's question on 2+2. Shout out to everyone on 2+2. I asked for some questions. We got some really great questions. I'm gonna get to a couple of them now.
Where's the 2+2 thread? Is it?
Okay, Sauce.
You're on
it. 2+2.com. Poker forums, you might have heard of it. Other poker, PLO BBB thread, one of the best threads ever, except when certain people post in there who are, I wish they got banned because they're the worst people ever. All right. So Cuddy2 asks, shout out to Cuddy, by the way. What was Sauce's biggest upswing?
I don't even know. I'm like, I don't even remember.
What does it feel like, guys? Can you guys imagine this? You don't even. I don't remember my biggest upswing. There's been so many big ones, you know.
No, I've lost so much money over the years. Like I just don't. I mean, I think I won. I didn't have all myself, but I think I won like $1 million in a day once. That was really cool.
What's that like? Walk us through the day. You wake up. What happens? Are you suspecting you're gonna win $1 million in that day?
No, but you know Isildur's online. He's ready to play. That's what you wake up.
What year was this? This was
This has to be
11.
I think it was probably 2014.
Oh, wait. I'm trying to remember that session. Obviously I knew I would have known it's happening if 2014. I was trying to pay close attention to things. So what happened? Was he playing a lot up until that point, or was it randomly he wanted to play?
Well, Isildur likes to play big when he's on a heater. This is something that we all know about. And at the time, like I played tons of heads up, just everything against Isildur. Like we started out playing no limit hold'em, then he switched to playing PLO, and I've even played some 8-game against him now. So we've kind of just played it all. And man, like he will just like my standard deviation in heads up PLO is like maybe like 250 normally or something like that. And against Isildur at certain times, it's been like 430.
We love betting pot, and that's gonna have some.
Yeah. So like, we just like fire up 4 tables heads up and play like 300 plus BB deep, and just like the swings would happen.
So you wake up that day. What stakes were you guys playing? 2-4, 200, 400?
Probably like 3-6 maybe, and 2-4, 3-6. But we'd play like deep or deep ante, and we'd play in like. Again, like when I'm playing that big, yeah, okay, I'm going from like focusing really hard to just focusing like a complete madman the entire time I'm playing. And then also there's something about playing Isildur. Like normally I don't respond like physically to playing poker. Like I don't like sweat. I don't get like physical tells of nervousness. But like when I'm playing Isildur on 4 tables of deep poker, the sweat's like pouring off me. I'm like melting over here. I'm just like
a napkin, like wiping your head off. You're like, is it getting in your eye? Like, what's happening, right? And you're like freaking out over things. Like, what? You drink?
Yeah, that's like the first 3 hours, and then we'll play like a 10-hour session. And then by the time like the 4th hour happens, my body is just like wrung dry of all like stress hormones, and then I'm just like in this like zen-like state with like hollowed eyes and stuff.
Jesus, how do we want to see that man on Twitch stream or something? We got to see him making a video.
Yeah, man, I'd love to do that someday, but I think that'd be giving away too much information for sure.
Cracked out, eyes wide, sweat pouring off. Like, click, walking in the Are you walking in the treadmill in this scenario, or are you?
No, this is pre-treadmill.
Okay. Wow, I couldn't imagine this happening now. Then.
So I mean, I have like a bar stool here. You can see it behind me.
Okay. My camera's blurry. Kind of. What do you have a bar stool for?
This is the, like when I get tired.
Oh,
I put the bar stool on the treadmill.
Oh, you turn the treadmill off and then you put the bar stool on there. You sit on the bar stool.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how it works. I didn't think you got tired. I thought you were like I don't get tired. I thought you just didn't get tired and you just kept walking the entire time.
Oh no, man. So and then what would happen was, and I remember I'd finish these sessions like 10 hours later, and be like really wired and wouldn't be able to sleep, and I'd just go like take a walk in the park for like 2 hours and have a couple of beers and then eventually pass out.
Where's the parks in Canada?
Yeah.
Where you get the beer at home or you go buy the beer somewhere else?
I mean, either one.
walk outside with 2 beers? Just go walking through a park drinking beers?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Is that against TOS in Canada, or is that like, do you do that?
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to do it, I guess, but
you're not supposed to do a lot of things according to TOS,
I mean, if you've ever been to Trinity Bellwoods Park on the weekend, which probably like 5 of your viewers have, you'll know that like people will crack a beer in that park from time to time.
So this day specifically, you win $1 million over 10 hours.
I'm like, again, I'm filling in the blanks because I actually don't remember particularly well.
We're speculating.
We're speculating. This is all.
We're not confirming
right.
this. It might be false.
This is all allegedly.
He could be making this up for all we know. We're just gonna go with approximately here.
Yeah. So I mean, I won a lot of money.
For sensation, for the headlines out there that aren't going to come, you win $1 million that day. Okay, so you win $1 million. Is he quits you or you quit?
I think he quits usually. I usually wouldn't quit Isildur. Just because, it's just too much fun to play him. And then
much fun, huh? Much fun. I mean, it's probably fun winning $1 million. Probably a fun thing.
Well, I've also lost like that much against Isildur too. So.
Well, we're going to be like most gamblers, and we're going to focus only on our wins. We're going to forget our losses, and then we're going to sensationalize our wins, and we're not going to talk about our losses.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's like I like those people like, it's like when you're talking about poker and like, oh, how you play poker? They're like, oh, I play poker. It's like, oh, how do you do? You're like, oh, I won $500 the other night. Oh, yeah, okay. What about you ever lose? You're like, well, sometimes, they don't mention the time they lose. They mention the time that they won, and I guess that's what makes gambling and poker so popular, is that people tend to focus on the positives sometimes when it comes to that and forget the negative.
Yeah, I think the human brain is like not made to deal with EV. It's like this constant struggle between like my stupid ape mind and like my like training and like poker playing to like realize that EV is a thing.
Do you take EV into account in most of your decisions? Like when you wake up, you're like, look in the fridge, you like have a couple options for food, or is everything, either one, it's gonna be fine.
Well, thankfully, most things in life are unquantifiable, so I don't have to.
That's true. I'd have some people that would argue that specific question that I just said is actually quantifiable.
I know they would, but I could argue back, I think. I don't know.
Well, I sense a Lafort showdown then, because Lafort, he's got this shit broken down to a fucking science. 85 meals a day, 125 bottles of water a day, nothing more, nothing less.
Right, yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep this bottle of smart water here to drink every day. I have to finish a 6-pack every day in honor of Lafort. And if I don't, obviously, in the meantime, I also keep a trusty, very GTO-sized bottle here to take in case I'm in the middle of reading an article and I can't be bothered to walk to my second bathroom right there. So
there's no way that's real. I play like 20-1.
How much?
I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the podcast to follow through with that.
How much you want to bet, man? $100?
Or 20-1. Are you gonna? What are you gonna say in reply? Are you gonna give me 10-1?
No, I'm 20-1. It sounds like an okay offer. I'm thinking 25-1. But if you want 20-1, I'll settle in the middle ground, because you probably 51. 20-1 seems like a good option. Yeah.
I mean, you just can't bet with the guy who's the owner of the bottle, though. That's the problem. We need an unbiased third party for me to bet against.
I wonder what my little brother's up to right now. Well, he's kind of biased, but at the same time, he's gonna let you know what's in the bottle. He's not lying. He's been on the podcast twice. Just we backed the truck up, he live streamed, he did it, and he'll tell you what's in the bottle. He'll be like, dude, what is this shit? I mean, hold on, let me. I'm not gonna do something. This is gonna get too many views for me to do my normal test on that. So, good day, sir. Made another comment. You're playing better. Good day, sir. Welcome back. He did. So, good day, sir said that I want to find that comment. Hold on. I want to find this comment. He said, my statement wasn't meant to be offending. It was meant to be constructive criticism. But sometimes I didn't pick the right words to deliver as intended. Yeah, I like constructive criticism. Unfortunately, your comment was not constructive at all. But that's okay. I mean, you admitted that. That's fine. We welcome you here. Thank you for another comment. So I have to admit, his basement looks like the basement of a small stakes rakeback grinder.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, what does a high stakes basement look like? What do you think some of those European guys' basement, their parents' house, looks like?
Oh, Dodson had a pretty nice basement. There was some wood, wasn't there?
Technically owns like $1 million house in Norway. So he's a really bad example for this situation.
All right, yeah.
He bought a house there, and next to allegedly an attractive older woman, I believe.
Oh.
want to make any allegations. Listen, if you ever get a chance to grind in real life, well, you are going to be watching, obviously. But if you ever get a chance to witness Odd Odson in action, how would you describe his playing style at poker?
I don't know. He's a weird one.
Okay.
He just like always somehow has it. But I don't know how.
Would you describe him as a collie player, a folding player, an aggressive player, a guy who takes shots, or what would you say his style is?
I would say he likes to check raise.
Okay.
He's a check raisey player.
Aggressive tendency. Okay.
Aggressive tendency.
Okay.
He likes to raise a lot of pots.
An aggressive tendency. Okay.
Aggressive tendencies. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, most people, when their poker style sometimes doesn't translate over to their real life. They might be crazy players online, but then you meet them in real life, they just, they don't say much. Odd Odson's style translate 100% over to real life. He's like, so I'll tell one quick story. We're at the Encore, the Win, and there's a little middle bar section, a circle bar. Just had dinner, a bunch of people. 2 women walk in. I allege them to be sex workers potentially. Previous to their, I look sex worker-ish. Sure. I got to read on sex workers. I haven't, whatever. So he walks over to the women, and I'm like, oh, all right, I'm going to go over there too. I walk up. He's like, I like your tits in that shirt. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, listen, dude, I'm out of here. I go sit back down. I turn around instantly. I'm like, no way. This motherfucker did not just say that. Is he kidding me? Okay, I sit down. I think Johan was there. So I'm like, Johan. He's like, what happened? I was like, he just said he likes that girl's tits. He's like, no, he didn't. I'm like, yeah, he did. So whatever. So we sit back. I'm sitting back. I'm watching. I'm laughing, having a drink. I'm like, all right, this guy's coming back over here. All right, come on. Just come on. Come sit down. You're making it fucking embarrassing yourself. 5 minutes later, he walks over. He's like, all right, we're out of here. I was like, you're out of here? What does that mean? He's like, we go to audio. We're going to gamble. I was like, wait, are these like professional workers? He's like, I don't know. And then they turn together. That's it. Gone. We just leave us there. And we're like, the fuck just happened? Wait, is that? I have to, yeah, that's what I'm in shock. I'm surprised. I still haven't actually. I've heard some speculation on what happened that night, but I don't know exactly. But I'm picturing in my head something interesting happened that night with 2 women in Odson. So,
wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you ever done that? You ever seen somebody do that? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it seems like you to go up to a couple of girls and be like, I like your tits in that shirt. You gotta be like really feeling yourself for sure.
Yeah, I feel like you just couldn't do it if you're North American and you're in the same culture. Like, I feel like if you're from a different culture and you're over somewhere else, you can just kind of pretend that's what everyone does in your home culture.
Oh my God, that's so true. You're like, when they get offended, you're like, this is what we say to all the girls in Norway. Wait, what was that? Hold on, what'd you do? What'd you say?
I was just imitating your Odson imitation. I was just getting wrapped up in the story.
Do that again. Wait, I like that. Do that again.
I can't. It's over.
I got to hear it. You made an Odd Odson impression. I got to hear the Odd Odson impression.
Big black booty.
Well, if you watch the podcast, you're only going to understand that reference. Otherwise, you're not going to understand what we just talked about. So, and I'm not going to tell you what that meant. You got to go find it in the Odd Odson podcast because, was that a woman in the channel? Mathilde, I know you and your boyfriend always watch a podcast. She said insanely good podcast, Joey and Ben. Much love from Norway. Mathilde, you're a woman in Norway, allegedly. No receipt yet. Is that normal for aggressive Norwegian men to walk up to you and proclaim that they enjoy your breast? Let me know, please. I appreciate it. Me and Ben. Well, Ben's retired. I'm not retired. I'm interested because I'm going to try this. I'm actually not going to try this in Vegas. I just don't see how that's a good idea. I don't think that's like, I don't know, man. Not even the most aggressive poker players I know would take that line. So.
No. So when I was like 19, I went to Iceland, and in Iceland they have this thing called I'm gonna mispronounce this for sure, but it's called like the Runt Tour or something, or anyway. Basically, what happens is in Iceland, it's really dark for a lot of the year, but during the summer it's like light 24 hours a day, basically for a brief period. And what happens is the whole like Reykjavik, which is like the one like decent sized city in Iceland, just everyone like goes nuts, and they do this thing called the Run Tour, which means like the whole city goes out and they just go drinking all night. just until dawn. That's just like a thing. They do it every week during the summer, I think. I'm, again, allegedly, because this is like my 19-year-old memory, but I just remember being at these bars at like 4 a.m. in Iceland, and just like all the Icelanders would just love to fuck with me. Like, it was just their favorite thing. And I thought that they were really scary and unfriendly, but now looking back, I think it might just be like the Icelandic sense of humor, and they just thought it was hilarious and just weren't actually being like mean or aggressive. They just wanted to like see my face. It's kind of like the vibe I get from some of like the Scandi humor, which seems awesome.
So they were Uber trolling you previous when trolling became actually in the public spotlight.
Yeah, they can just keep a straight face. And then, and man, they can drink too. Like at 6 a.m., I'd be going to bed at the hostel where I was staying, and you could just hear like the vomit hitting the sidewalk outside.
Why'd you go to Iceland when you're 19? Was it something? Was it like your favorite place, or friends go there? You know people there?
Dude, Iceland is awesome. Like, if you ever get a chance to go to Iceland, go. They have like first, a lot of Iceland just kind of looks like the surface of the moon. It's just these jagged rocks that look really volcanic. And then other parts of it, they have like these beautiful green fields where they like raise sheep and stuff. It's just like a really spectacular place. And then the entire half of the island is like covered in these huge glaciers too. It's just a spectacular, part of the world. You
take like a helicopter tour of the place, or like a little plane tour or something like that. I'm assuming they probably have things like that so you can check the island out.
I think we just drove.
Oh, you can drive everywhere. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll put Iceland on the list. I got like a lot. I'd rather go to Norway. I haven't actually been to Norway or Sweden or Finland yet. Those are probably like my number one priority if I'm gonna go to one of the countries that are in that part of the world.
Yeah, I want to go to Norway and Finland too. I've been to Sweden a little bit, but it was in the summer and it was in the south. Which is like, I mean, it's great. Stockholm's amazing, but it's like very cosmopolitan, like, everyone's very cool, like very, yeah, it's just like a European big city. I want to get more of the country of the Nordic area.
Guys, I understand what you're saying. I could feel that. What is Cuddy had a second part of that question. He said, if he faced any mental barriers to continue his success once he realized he was doing something extra. Can you ask him if he faced any mental barriers to continue his success once he realized he was doing something extraordinary instead? I don't know. I'm not sure. Cuddy, you gotta redefine the question, my friend, if you're in the chat, please. If not, then I don't know. Okay. Dr. Repper says, please ask Sauce. Shout out to Dr. Repper. Please ask Sauce what his largest downswing was playing PLO in buy-ins.
I don't remember. Again, I think in the 100 buy-in range, something like that.
Okay, probably it's pretty standard. I mean, as sad as it is, it's standard for PLO. Sometimes you go on 100 buy-in downswings.
Yeah, I was always lucky in a weird way where whenever I was running really good situationally, I ran really bad in EV. When I was running bad situationally, I ran good in EV, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. Some 3-bet, 4-bet pots, like in spots where they just would fold in situations, or they had it in situations, and
yeah. Like I never had one of those runs where like your EVBB is like 2 BB per 100 or something, and then your actual win rate is like -10 or something, where you just get like slammed across the board, which I guess is pretty lucky in hindsight.
Yeah. I have a strategic question that I'm not gonna ask you to follow up on that. Marius says, if he wants to come to Northern Norway, I live in a city on the polar circle. He can stay at my place. I'm friendly and not a pervert, allegedly.
Allegedly.
We didn't say that. I'm adding that in. Anyone, I got a theory, guys, and I'm going to tell you this theory right now. Take this theory however you want it. Look for it in your life. If someone tells you they're something or they're not something, they're usually lying to you. If you meet a girl and she's like, listen, I never do things like that. If she openly says that, lying to you. If anyone says, I never do things like this, they are fucking lying to you. That's a sign they're not being honest. If someone tells you I'm honest, they're not honest. No one that's honest is going to say, hey, Ben, listen, man, I'm an honest fucking guy, okay? You're probably, why would I tell you that? I'm going to show you with my actions, not with my words.
Yeah, so I feel like as cool as it is that people on the internet are like, oh, that guy seems pretty cool. Like, you should come visit me in this place. Like, and that's I'm flattered, but also I'd be way too scared to ever actually visit someone who just said that in the internet. Like, who am I kidding?
That I'm Marius LOL on Liquid. I know Marius. Marius is actually legit. He's legit.
Okay.
Legit. He's playing poker for a long time. He's cool. I like, but I know what you mean. So I actually got a couple of messages from people in Belgium because I'm going to Tomorrowland in July. They're like, hey, I want to show you around, like take you to the clubs, like show you this. I'm like, one part of me is like, okay, that sounds cool. Other part of me is like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I'm like looking for receipts on Facebook. Like, is this a real person? Is he murdering? Like, I don't know how to get a vibe for someone over on the internet if they're gonna like want to rate me. If you want to sex, just ask, man or women. I might tell you no, but just don't rate me. That's all I ask for the stalkers. I love the stalkers, but just don't engage me in some unwanted physical sexual activity, please.
Fair.
So have you ever dealt with any stalkers, Ben? Any people messaging you, guy, women, men, anything that says some weird shit to you, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Not beyond the usual, like, yeah, nothing like funny enough to talk about.
Okay. I mean, I don't get much funny stuff either, but I hear a lot of women get like weird shit. I obviously this is all males. Maybe if I was doing something that had more than 2% women in it, I'd get some creepy stalker messages from women. But unfortunately, we live in a male-dominated society of poker, so we don't have to deal with.
Here's a question for you, Joey. Why don't more women play poker?
It's a great question. I guess in terms of online or live, probably is the question, right?
Either one.
It seems like gambling online is a very like male. I don't know, it's just like it seems like it's like the gambling in general. But there's a lot of females that gamble at slots and stuff like that, and like enjoy going to the boat and the casino and playing. But I don't know. It's a great question in terms of online. I think live, obviously, it's intimidating, and I think what happens, a lot of people don't start online; they start playing live. So you get a guy home game with his buddies. Obviously, if a girl comes there, she's, it's a little inappropriate conversation going on. People are drunk. They're acting like a fucking idiot. Most women probably don't feel comfortable, so they never start off playing there. Guys are already starting off in their local games. Then they transition to online. I mean, that's kind of what happened for me. So I don't think people just start playing online like, oh, I watch TV, I'm just going to go online and play. I think they always start playing live to start off with.
But aren't there more, like, I feel like 6 to 10% of live poker players are women? That'd be like my guess.
Interesting. You think so? 6 to 10%, really? I mean, I obviously, like, I don't have any idea. That's
maybe that's too high. Maybe it's like 4 to 6%. I don't know. But like, I think online is probably less than that even. Anyway, I don't know.
But maybe like it's. I think a lot of friends play poker. So you have to think about, like, for a lot of women to play poker, you must need more. Like, you need more friends that are women playing poker too. And obviously, if it's rare for one woman to play poker, it's going to be rare for another one to start playing. Like, I think you need a boyfriend or you need friends that you get in. I doubt a girl is just like, I'm going to go to the local bar for the $20 poker night and start playing. And then I'm going to try to pursue that from a serious standpoint.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe this isn't true at all, but like when I picture myself, like I feel like it's a competitive advantage to be a woman at the poker table. You know what I mean?
100%.
Women just always get underestimated. Always. And I feel like if for a lot, like I would think as a woman, it must be satisfying to be underestimated just based on your gender and then go to the poker table and just like beat these guys. Like you think that'd be really fun. So I don't know why more women don't play.
I think there's only a select few. I think my friend Jen Shahad, who actually has a question, or said she made a comment that I'm going to edit. I know she said she's watching too. She might probably know what their workout now. I got a little FaceTime with her before we started. Asked her a question about an idea about chess, and yeah, love chess. But yeah, so I think she sort of has that outlook on situation. Like, I don't necessarily know if she's underestimated because she's, debatably one of the best. She got mad at, I said this earlier, but she's one of the best at chess in the world, especially, for the women's side of things. I believe she might be the best women's chess player, which seems insane to even say about the person. But I think she takes that challenge. But a lot of people probably like shy away from that. They take it, they don't want to be like treated that way. They want to be treated nicely. They don't want to be treated like you're fucking terrible, you're an idiot or something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just like kind of cultural stuff. Like I don't go and be like, hey, all these girls think they're so good at crocheting. I'm going to show them. You know what I mean? Like, it just never really crossed my mind. Like, I never got in the door there, you know? So, like, maybe that's it, too.
I mean, maybe it's also that you just haven't had any real visible women have success at poker on, like, a repetitive scale.
And that's, like, it's pretty big.
Is she that popular?
I think she's, like, got to be top 15 poker players in the world, and just in terms of, like popularity. That's just my guess, but, like,
you know, maybe you need someone who's popular with men, because, like, I think she's popular. She's looked at. She's aggressive. She's a good player. I think guys look at that. They respect that. But obviously, she doesn't like men, and they make this a very vocal thing. And a lot of, I guess it's pretty well known, I think, in terms of people that are watching poker. So guys look at her. They're not like, oh, I want to get with her. Well, I say that. I mean, listen, Vanessa, you're become single, man. Shout me out. Let me know if you're interested. I'll take you on a date. I'll treat you nice. I promise, man. Nice fucking guy, man. Good, nice. I'll be studying law, whatever. All right, that's enough. I'm gonna stop my ad for the day. But thank you for the upgrade, Jen did. But no, yeah. So, I got excited. I got really passionate about talking to Vanessa right there. Like, if she's watching, which I don't think she is, but I mean, I plays PLO, man. Shit, dude, fuck. But I think what happens, you need a woman who's like more on the sultry side, the sexy side, where a guy looks at her, he's like, oh god, I want to fuck this. I mean, that's a feminist sort of thing to say, and shout out to the feminist. I know you might give me some backlash on that, but I think you need someone like that to become really good at poker. They show their girlfriends are like, who's this girl? Like, oh, I want to play. I can play. I'm like her. I'm a pretty girl, or I want to be a pretty girl, or whatever. Then they that. And I don't think we've seen that yet happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't know either, man. That's a great question. I mean, obviously, I want to see more women in poker. I think that'd be a great thing. A little bit more diversity in poker would be awesome.
Yeah, I would enjoy playing poker more if there were more women in poker, for sure. Just for table talk, if nothing else.
I mean, do you see many women that play the high stakes games, like Jen Harmon? Is she still active in those games?
I think she plays mostly limit, and last year I wasn't playing the big limit games, so I haven't played much with her.
Any other women? That's it, pretty much?
There was this really baller woman who was just like, she was just drinking her wine, was like clearly like kind of a whale, and she was just like super aggressive, slamming in bets, like going all in blind at like huge stakes, and just like enjoying herself and just trolling all the men at the table the whole time. It was awesome.
Oh my god! Did you ask any questions? Like who are you? Right?
Well, English was an issue. There's sort of a language barrier.
Is she?
I mean, I don't want to fill in too many of the details because these people should be kept anonymous, right? But like. Anyway, I was too tongue-tied, obviously, to do much more than just, be in awe.
I got to be honest with you, Sauce. If I ever sit down at a table and I meet someone like that's a woman, I'm taking my best shot, man. I'm firing. Like, I'm in. Like, I'm using the Lafort Hail Mary strategy. He taught me. I haven't had to pull out the Hail Mary Lafort strategy yet. That's the time I'm throwing out the Hail.
What is the Hail Mary? I don't know about this.
Listen, I can't give away. This is a strategic. All right. Hail Mary strategy. This is when you only got a prayer. Like, if you might never see this person again, you might never talk to her again. There's literally nothing bad that comes from it. And you might have a little relationship with her, you might not. The Hail Mary is when you just fire all your best things. You give it your all, your best lines, your best comments. You try everything. And it turns out the Hail Mary strategy has been successful for some people.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a very advanced theory, I believe. Lafort's book he's got, but he showed me a receipt on the Hail Mary strategy in action, and I was quite impressed by it, I gotta say. And if I encounter one of these women in the live poker I'm not going to be playing in Vegas this summer, I'm trying it. I'm gonna try it. I'm getting excited. Someone said some comments, but I'm not going to say them. I don't want to answer that question. Marius actually made a comment. He said, a more serious answer, most women are more occupied in social things, relationships, and more emotional. debatably. Seems harder for them to get lost and obsess over more practical tasks. That actually makes some sense, doesn't it?
Dude, I don't know. I don't even know like about that can of worms because it's like.
Are we getting on that? Are we toting on the line for the feminist line there?
Like women tend to be into different stuff than guys, but you would think there'd be more crossover than there is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I guess poker is still in its infant stages, and obviously it started off as hugely male dominated. So I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I think it might almost take like the moneymaker effect for female wise for that to happen.
Yeah, that's possible, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, Jen just wins the main event, and then
that would be awesome.
That's true, man. Yeah, that'd be. Shout out to Jen. I hope Jen wins the main event. She actually said a comment to me. She said, wrote it down allegedly. No, this actually happened. She said that you don't think of bad players / and bad plays in a negative way in your videos.
I don't know how to answer that. I don't even know what a negative way means. Like,
so when a guy does something dumb, you're like, this guy's a fucking idiot. That play was really, really, really idiotic potentially.
Maybe that's just my video face. I'm definitely not above like laughing at some guys play. That being said, like when I'm at the table, I'm mostly just trying to respond to the situation in the best way that I'm capable of, and so making judgments about players is kind of a waste of energy.
Makes sense. Okay, moving on to some other questions here. I don't want to talk about bad player. I don't like focusing on the negative. I like focusing on the positive.
Yeah, let's focus on the positive.
Positivity. Positivity breeds positive. Who Jay on the ground would say this on the podcast? Positivity breeds positive action. Positive results. Positivity breeds positive results. Maybe.
Yeah, Negreanu's whole outlook is pretty interesting.
He's definitely unorthodox, I think, when it comes to, but he's also like an old school poker player. I feel like he's a lot different than us online guys who like lived our fucking life on the internet. I don't think he's lived much of his life on the internet.
Yeah. So I'm like, in terms of like worldviews, I'm a truth guy. Like I want to see the things that are true, and I'm always looking to like keep the things in my worldview that I think are like more defensible and more true. And so I'm like really reluctant to take people seriously who like think that like positivity breeds positive things. I'm just like, no, like figure out what's true and do the best you can. That's just kind of how I view the world.
The people are commenting in the chat. I'm banning some people now. This is exciting. I even banned people in like 20 minutes. So I just banned 3 people that said the word.
I feel like I'm missing all the trolls in the chat. I feel like I should be watching this.
You're literally not missed. They're saying, I just want to ban. I want to ban like 100 people, but I'd only ban like 4 or 5. So Nonstop. So shout out to Nonstop, by the way. What's up, Poppy? I haven't said Poppy once this set. Oh my, hold on. Ben, let me get some shouts real quick. Hold on. Nonstop Poppy said, I guess I'm leaning towards holding the controversial opinion that, oh shit. Bang, 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 bang. Hold on. Oh shit. Let me sit down and fire the fire. I'm not firing the shot. Guys,
give me some shots. I want some shots here.
This is a shot, and I'm not saying it. This isn't my opinion, guys, okay? I don't want a thread made that says Joe Ingram or Sauce 123 are hating on people, but this is what he says, and I'm just gonna read it back. I'm not gonna read it. Sauce, listen.
Perfect.
He says, I guess I'm leaning towards the controversial opinion that men are simply better at parentheses at least have higher max potential parentheses at strategy games / gaming. The empirical evidence is hard to ignore. I'm not touching that comment. I got nothing to say, buddy. Ben, you want to take that one?
Here, I'll take it. So
please.
I think it's pretty uncontroversial that men are more interested in strategy games and things like that, in the stuff that is involved in poker. And so whenever you make that comment, you run the risk of being like, are all the best poker players male, or almost all the best poker players male because men are better at poker, or because men are into poker? And I think the more obvious answer is because men are into poker.
Okay, we're gonna go. Word, man, word. Women are good at poker. I mean, not some of the women I met, bang, bang, but I mean, still, bang, 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 bang. Listen, man, I met some fucking, I met some women in poker, nice women. But talk some poker with them. You know, I mean,
it's true though. Like when you go into Bobby's room, like the high stakes regs, I don't think there's a single high stakes cash game reg who's a woman right now. Really, maybe Jen, kind of, but she mostly plays tournaments. She mostly plays Chinese.
Yeah, she's like a
Jennifer Harmon, I guess.
Jen's dominating the open-faced Chinese world, I believe. She spends her time dominating the world.
Yeah.
So I think Jen probably could, if she like focused on playing high stakes cash only and wasn't like so involved in chess or so involved in CrossFit, so involved in getting some of the debatably, yeah, I'm sure a receipt on that one. I'm not even gonna say that, but. Yeah, I think if she focused on maybe just playing online high stakes cash games or regular live cash games, a certain game, she could be one of the best at that game. But I think maybe what happens is the women that have that potential to do that are just doing other things that are more cooler to do for like that's could be what it is too.
I guess so, but like, man, I'm gonna fire some shots. Like I want to see a woman beat me at heads up any form of poker in the next 5 years. Shots fired at all women across the world.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it live? Wait, you were playing with Natalie the other day. Natalie's 3-2, allegedly Natalie Portman at the table. I saw you setting her up.
Yeah. Natalie might not be beating the games. Let's put it that way. A lot of heart, though.
What do you think? Anything to add on the speculation that's Natalie Portman, the actress from Israel?
I'm going to guess it's not Natalie Portman.
Yeah. I mean, never could be. Never know. All right. So that's an open challenge that if you want to do a challenge or something, or you want
open challenge to womankind. Okay.
Okay.
It has to be either no limit hold'em, PLO, or 8-game. Those are the games.
Okay. What's the challenge parameters potentially? Is this debatable? You have you want to have a starting point?
I mean, when someone steps up, we can work out the details,
Bang, bang. Is it a free roll, or you want to put up, give them odds, or what is just a straight up? I mean, the feminists might not like you give them odds. You want them to treat them on an equal plane.
No, they don't get odds.
Yeah, I shouldn't. That'd be misogynistic of you, I believe.
Right, I think so too.
I think so. All right, so that's an open challenge.
Open challenge.
Make the thread, guys. 2+2. Get out there. Make this an NVG right now. We got an open fucking challenge. Oh, they're gonna be mad. I want to see WCG Ryder say that same thing. Oh, they'd be mad. They'd be mad. WCG Ryder say that. Sauce say that. I want to see this happen, man. Holy fuck! I want to say. All right, so a couple more comments here. Hold on a second. Let me go back up here. I'll ask that question. Marius, you're asking great questions, man. I enjoy you. Thank you for being in the chat. Let me go up. Is 438 live? Is that a record? It's on YouTube? No, most on YouTube is over 1,000. But it wasn't a podcast. It was my play chip money prop that I did.
Yeah, that was sick.
The play chip. Did you?
Didn't you do the hands in a day?
Which one?
Didn't you do most hands in a day?
Well, I mean, I've done that too. Yeah, that's no one remembers that, kid. Yeah, I played 50,000 hands in a day. No one remembers that prop bet though.
That's sick.
I made 45 buy-ins that day too.
That's really sick.
I mean, it was 10 cent, 25 cent, but it's still 50,000 hands in a day. You made 45 fucking buy-ins playing 24 tables for 21 hours straight. So
what did you VPIP?
It was 6 max, right? What do you think my VPIP was? I won 45 buy-ins in the day. What do you think my VPIP was at that 10 cent, 25 cent NL6 max?
24?
15.
Wow.
15, 11. Yeah. 45 buy-ins. 15, 11, 45 buy-ins at a stake at a 6 max game.
Wow.
Like after I got done playing, I was like, this would be the most boring way ever, but like it's sick. I mean, that's sick that you could. I mean, I wasn't like I'm obviously like I'm not missing out on when I'm playing the hands. I'm obviously not playing the hands optimally in that situation too.
Right.
It's still like to that extent. It's just.
Were you just like only 3-betting? Were you like I feel like if I was making that prop, I would like never open a pot.
Well, I had to show a profit too. I couldn't lose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to win. So that was like, and obviously like I want to win. Like I don't want to be close. Right. I want to try to crush as hard as I can. Like I wasn't really concerned about the winning portion of that, unfortunately. Yeah. But I think it was like 15, 12, like 2% 3-bet or 3% 3-bet or something like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was certainly not like I wasn't 3-betting my whole like 10% of my hands and I'm only playing 12%. That would have been pretty. Yeah. Yeah, I've done that, but I guess I did the same thing at PLO too. I played 34K hands in a day at PLO or something like that. I lost a lot of money that day. Let's put it like that. So
Yeah.
I think sniffingly harder to play 24 hours straight at PLO than it is.
God, yeah. PLO is so much slower too.
Well, now you're playing 24 tables. It's not that slow. It's equally as quick. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, man. Jen said it's just like spending a lot of time talking about why there are not many elite female poker pros makes it more true. His reluctance to answer the question / open the can of worms shows he gets that. I mean,
That was confusing.
What? I'm not sure, Jen, what Jen meant. It's just like, it was back before and we were talking about things. Alex said, go ahead.
Read the comment again if you don't mind.
He said, it's just like spending a lot of time talking about why there are not many elite female pros makes it more true. So spending a lot of time talking about why there are not many elite female pros makes it more true. His reluctance to answer the question / open the can of worms shows he gets that.
All right, I'm going to take the credit, but I don't know if I did that.
I mean, your next comment didn't quite in line.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex says, I haven't gone down. I actually haven't seen any comments to that open challenge, by the way. I'm still up here, so I'm going to go down and I'm going to be interested. Alex said, favorite players to play with in live poker?
Billy Baxter. It's really fun.
Okay.
Yan Chen. I get a kick out of Yan.
Okay.
Really want to play with Ilari. I've heard Ilari is a lot of fun.
Okay.
But those first two guys are kind of unknown, I guess.
Billy Baxter, he's kind of like a legend, isn't he?
He's like the legend that no one really knows about, but he's a total legend.
Okay. I'm going down the chat, so what? I'm not even reading this comment, man. Jen said Vanessa Selp / Burberry / D-Moon Girl. Hold on, Nonstop said another comment. I just want to follow up with this last comment he made.
Okay.
Once again, not from my opinion. It's obviously true that men are more into strategy games gaming, but there's actually zero elite where elite is defined as top 20 in the world. Women, poker players, chess players, etc. I don't know. I think Jen's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like
Not about chess. Come on.
Yeah.
Confirmed world champion. Jen, I don't know. She said, "Will you add chess to the 8 game?"
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
Which is because that's a free game. We're playing poker. We're not playing like, mix of life activities.
Okay. Wow, this rollerblades taking some shots in the chat. Wow. Okay. Wow. How many miles have you covered since the beginning of the interview? It's not an interview, it's a conversation, by the way. Listen, I'm a conversationalist, not an interviewer. Go ahead. How many times have you spent on how many miles have you on the treadmill?
Oh, actually, I don't know. I guess I can do it by time. Probably like 3 miles. Not too far.
Okay. It's not bad. Judith Polgar was top 10 in chess. Yeah, man. Listen, Jen is the best fucking chess player in the world to me. Okay. I'm going with Jen over anyone. If she loses the chess and someone, I'll put my life on the line. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. All right. Hey, I'm not gonna ask that question. The Foo Fighter. What's up? He says, please, best poker advice you ever got.
I wish I had like a go-to story here, but I don't really. This is kind of lame, but there's all these really good like 1-sentence Phil Ivey interviews. So like they're asking Ivey like this is like in a high stakes poker episode from like 5 years ago, but they're like, yeah, so Phil, like, when you go into a poker game, like do you go in deciding you're gonna play loose that day, play tight? Do you have like a set strategy you play? And just Ivey's like, I take what they give me. And he like the interviewer asked him to expand, and he just won't, which is kind of telling. Like I thought like at the time that kind of like opened my mind, which is just that like at the time it was like really trendy to be stylistic with poker and be like, I'm going to be aggressive, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. And then to see like the best poker player in the world be like, like my ego isn't here. I'm just going to do whatever they let me do. That was kind of cool.
Okay. Someone wrote a poem for you in my Facebook group. Hold on, let me go read the poem.
Okay.
Allegedly. Hold on. There's a poem. Really, a poem? Where's the poem at? Okay. She said, I'm so excited that I wrote an open poem to Sauce. This is a confirmed woman. I have a receipt on her. We've chatted before. Confirmed woman, nice girl, trying to make it at poker. Shout out to her boyfriend, trying to play some PLO. Hope you guys do well. All right, she says, froze there, but all right. I remember I have 3 days left on my Elite Run It Once membership. The membership I thought was too expensive, but I decided to get it anyway because it's way cheaper than an hour of coaching with anyone decent and all the pro videos suck. I log in, I see your name. You've made a new video. My eyes light up. I see your profile picture. It's you holding up that sexy purple starfish that haunts my dreams. The video starts. I see you bobbing up and down. You're walking on that funny walking treadmill thing. And yet somehow you still manage to explain everything 10x better than Galfond, allegedly, debatably. Shots fired, bang, bang, whatever. Clearly, what the fuck? Clearly a god walks among us. You introduce yourself and all I can think of is Sauce. Hollandaise, Heinz 57, Bernays, ... All of them pale in comparison to you. When I order a steak and the waiter asks if I want any sauces, it pains me to request A1. The sauce that I really want is sauce 123. Because sauce 123 is the best sauce. Comment sauce on the poem?
I mean, I'll just say that the strategy I'm going to remain humble about, but I do know how to treat a purple starfish.
Wow. Jesus Christ, okay.
That's so ridiculous.
Wow. Oh, well. You got to admire, my friend. That's the poem. Listen, if somebody wants to write me a poem as heartfelt as that, please write me a poem. Please. Please, let me a poem, please. Would you be interested in maybe talking to her ever? I mean, she's not a friendly platonic. I mean, she's married, she's in a relationship, she might be married, she might be a Finnish and Basque citizen at one point in time.
I'm a little scared, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. What part scares you, I think?
Well, I mean, we just heard the poem on the air. I think there's, a lot of aspects that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. Some girl wrote me a poem like that. Not going to be able to do it. I mean, yeah.
But my wife is definitely going to enjoy this part of the show. I got to timestamp this one.
Is she gonna watch this part?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely going to tell her about this part. Are you kidding me? This is going to be the...
Yeah. Probably should tell her about that. Okay. Okay. Wow. Please send to my Twitch inbox. I will wife Adrian. Nope. Not going to do it. The Foo Fire. One more question. What is the main reason most PLO mid-stakes guys can't make it to the high stakes?
So these questions I tend to answer kind of a dick, but I mean the main reason is just that you just have to play hard and study hard and just have the best game, and then you'll rise up through the stakes. And then also variance, obviously. PLO variance keeps people down for a lot longer or pushes people up than a no limit, but it's really hard. I don't know.
Makes sense, yeah. Yeah. The future of online poker in the US and wait, do you have any the future of online poker in the US and will there ever be another boom? I feel like this question always gets asked. I guess it's kind of hard to answer.
Yeah, it's impossible to answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, for sure. All right, so what did Action Freak ask? Action Freak said, forget about work. Curious to hear his thoughts about how you can, I think you kind of already answered that question, actually. Shout out to Action Freak, by the way, Joku.
Yeah,
Hey, Vanchin said, how many hours has Sauce historically studied as compared to playing poker?
I don't study as much as maybe some other guys who are the super hardcore studiers. I picture somebody like Kanu or something studying more than I do. But when I do study, I feel like I study really hard and efficiently. So what I do to get motivated to study is I play a session and I look at all the spots that in the moment when I was playing the hand pissed me off. I feel like that's like the best guide to like the spots that I was uncomfortable in. So I take all those spots that made me uncomfortable or that I lost or that I was unhappy with the result or like how my strategy played out. And I take those and I go over them in like the best way that I can most days. And, you know, and I also work on like new modes of analysis to do and things like that in order to like broaden the ways that I can look at hands. But for the most part, like I'm using whatever game I'm playing that day to motivate me to like improve my game and to try harder.
Okay, I like that answer. No one made the thread, by the way, yet. So I'm just waiting for the thread to be made about sauce. Can I see? Well, I guess we gotta wait till the podcast done so you can link to the podcast in there. But I'm waiting for that thread to be made in G+2. Someone better make that at some point in time. Let's see. Into moment. So into moment, I froze into moment on you, but into moment was posted in my podcast thread in NVG. He was saying he needs the podcast. He's like going crazy without the podcast. If that's true, which I have my doubts, much love. He asked a couple questions. I'm gonna go ahead and ask him. He said, "Where does Ben put himself amongst the top high stakes PLO regs? Top 5, top 10, top 20, or top 50? Question mark." Answer this question. I gotta go fix my fire alarm because I still haven't fixed it yet, and it's been like a week.
Not answering this question because, I mean, look at the lobby. I think that tells you. It's weird answering this question in an empty screen. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure.
Whoops. All right, hold on. I'm seeing. All right, so I put sauce. If I had to put sauce, I'm gonna put sauce. Top 5. Move on. Does he still have the drive to improve at PLO, or is mixed game his new passion?
I work on PLO too. So when I'm playing PLO, I work on PLO. When I'm playing mix, I work on mix.
Okay. You still have the drive to improve at both.
Yeah. There's also like this thing that I think some people forget about, which is that you have to maintain your poker game too. So like there'll be like, so for example, like say I'll have some spot where like my head says, yo, I always shove here. I always shove here. It's an easy shove. Like I'll look at some cross section of those like easy shoves that I just have been making, and then I'll analyze them again, even if I've already done the analysis, and I'll see if something's changed. And sometimes I get into bad habits, and only through like repeatedly going over the same spots again and again and training and retraining myself can I make sure that I'm actually playing the spots well.
Makes sense. I'm question if you're watching. I'm purposely not following up with these questions. Not gonna be able to do it. All right, guys in the chat, some regulars. Andreas, Daniel T. What's up, puppy? Man, Rams. What's up, man? All the puppies coming out right now. GTO plays, papito, la cola mosa, la cola monosita, mamita, cola masa, cola de. Yeah, you know what I said. The true Spanish people know what I said out there. Shout out to the Spanish people listening right now. They want to wrap off, freestyle off. Hoss, are you in?
Absolutely not.
Come on, you go first. Why? You gotta spit a couple bars. You see, you look like you got a solid freestyle game.
No.
Give us 4 bars. I'll give you 4 bars. You give us 4 bars.
I don't even know what a bar is. First of all,
whatever you want. I don't know what a bar. I don't know what a bar is. By the way,
no freestyle. Next, keep them coming.
Okay. Jungleman impression.
Jungleman impression.
Jungleman impression. One of the former most popular segments that we've ever had.
God, Jungleman is so good. Well, it's like when she dances with another guy, doesn't make me jealous. It's a compliment. I can't do the voice though.
That's the spot you picked, really?
Oh God, that was so good. Just no Jungleman, just making sense of social situations in like his own way is awesome. I love Jungleman.
Wow, that was actually real. I'm so very shocked. I would not have I would have been like the 100th section of Jungleman. I would have predicted that you picked for the impression. But I totally see his outlook on his after learning more about him. I still understand where he's coming from.
No, me too. It's awesome. Like he just like, I feel like Jungleman has just solved every social situation from the ground up. He's just like figured it out in his own way.
You know what? I think this is like not known about him, but I think he like crushes like in a lot of things he does. And like he might seem like he's a certain time, maybe awkward a little bit, but I think he like crushes in a lot of things he really like tries to do. Like anything.
I would not firing any shots. I'm a huge Jungleman fan.
Me too. I'm excited. I think Jungleman, I think he might be going to EDC, which if we get Jungleman EDC in Vegas, that's like, that's going to be sick. I want to see Jungleman in an EDC environment in Vegas. That could be pretty epic.
Yeah.
Mad said he's up 7 buy-ins after 160 hands. The Poppy Cast Run Good is sick today. Yeah, for you guys know, obviously the Poppy Cast Run Good, aka formerly Podcast Run Good, is real when you listen to this. So because there's a lot of positivity going on, a lot of good things being talked to you. It's just, it helps you run better. And that's confirmed. That's not a debate. All right, Ad Victoria. Shout out Ad Victoria. Sauce, you have to choose one alternative beginning. What? You have to choose one alternative. Begin every sentence for the rest of your life with "this whole BGG grind is," or finish every sentence with "Antonio Sfondiari is the best."
This whole BGG grind?
You know what the BGG grind is, right?
Like, not really.
I have a seat. Let me tell you about it. I have a standing. The BGG, the Big Girl Grind is what it's called. So, motto is 160 or above, I show you love. 160 or below, gotta go. You a big girl, you need someone to love, come hang out with me. You come hang out on the podcast. We're gonna show you some love. The Big Girl Grind. And now most people think the Big Girl Grind are like these like big out of shape girls. And I'm not firing no shots at out of shape girls. They got their place out there in the world for men. Now what I'm interested in a girl with a little bit of muscle. Maybe she got the thighs, the booty. Maybe she's a little bit taller. That's what I mean by the Big Girl Grind.
Okay.
That's what the BGG is. The technical definition in the dictionary of the BGG is.
Nothing wrong with the BGG.
I completely agree. But some people like they have this misconception. It's like, oh, look at that 300-pound woman. Now that's the real Big Girl Grind. And now I'm not necessarily in that. And that's not my preferred option. You know, I'm not gonna.
Fair.
I don't know what the answer to the question was. I'm not sure. What would you rather? Yeah, this whole BGG grind is, or Antonio Sfondiari is just the best.
I mean, I don't know. I guess BGG.
Okay, let's move on to something much better. Hollywood Haxton impression.
No, I can't do the Hollywood.
No, yes, come on.
No, I've got nothing there.
You don't have really? Do I have to do the Hollywood Haxton impression? I've been working at it.
Do the Hollywood Haxton.
Hold on, let me go find Ike. What are you doing, man? Ike's sitting on the fucking beanbag chair again. He's always sitting on the bean. Ike, what are you doing in there, man? Get out here. They're wanting you on the podcast. Hold on, Ike's coming. Hold on, he's getting something. Ike, this is guy at, man.
What?
Ike, where's he at? Where's Ike at, man? I don't know where he is. Oh, he's coming. Hold on, Ben. Ben, I'm getting him. He's coming. Hold on.
All right. Wow.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's it going, Ike?
It's going okay right now. I'm playing some poker and Joe's beanbag chair and listening to the podcast.
Excellent. How's the Dream Machine?
That's a great question, Ben. It's going okay right now. Could be doing better, but I'm trying to work out some things and.
Pretty solid, Joey.
I'm Hollywood Haxton. Hollywood Haxton, guys. If you didn't get a chance to meet Hollywood Haxton, that's him. I'm still working out the inflection points of the voice. I've been running some sims nonstop, and that's Hollywood Haxton, guys. So if you guys don't know Hollywood Haxton, you have to see his avatar to really understand what I was just doing right there. Because I feel like it always nails it until he opens his mouth. God damn it, man! I gotta fucking work at that. I'm getting it down, man. You don't have you later down the Hollywood Haxton impression after that?
No. I think Ike is way, like, I don't know this for sure because I haven't hung out with Ike, but I picture Ike being like way less square than his image suggests. Like, I think Hollywood Haxton is swinging behind the scenes.
I think you're right. Really, I think so too. Like,
I think he has a good time.
I
don't know.
Speculating here. We're speculating here. We can't confirm. We have no receipt. We got nothing. We got nothing. The best impression was the awkward pause. Yeah, Ike does these like awkward pauses that have been picking up. I've been actually studying some tape, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird. No, I do the Hollywood. I'm trying to work at it. You know, it's like it's gonna be my like go-to thing. When he's getting on the podcast, is gonna be one of the most epic fucking Hollywood Haxtons off of all fucking time, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. My God, I cannot wait till I see him in Vegas. I'm gonna walk up with the glasses on to him in the striped shirt and talk to him, like in the Ike Haxton voice, and I'm gonna get it down really good. Oh man, this might be a little swag. Yo, hold on a second.
I bet he'll have a line prepared.
Yeah, I feel like they've asked him about this enough times now, and he knows he's Hollywood Haxton now, so I feel like he's gonna have something in mind. He's got something prepared. He's gonna say to me.
Yeah.
What do you think you need to say? Positive or negative comment to me?
I think he might troll you a little, friendly troll.
Yeah, I think so. Rory says, ever see a heads-up match with Ben 86 or Ike? Oh, is that not for me? Oh, that's for Sauce. I thought it was like me. I was like, no, Sauce. Like, what? Do you ever see a heads-up match with Ben 86 or Ike?
I mean, probably not. Like occasionally, but there's just not as much incentive to go battle huge these days.
What about a challenge at like a lower stake game?
Hey, I'm gonna take a 2-minute break, bathroom break.
You got a bottle there?
No bottle.
Go ahead. I'm gonna get some shout outs, Ben. Don't worry, man. Let me hold this down. I got this. All right, guys. Ben's in the bathroom. We're gonna give a couple shout outs in the chat. Add Victoria 1, Pop. Adrian Phoenix, my boy Adrian. Much love, Adrian. Got a lot of love for him. You check out his Twitch stream. Debatably one of the best. Better than never mind. Greg Weisman. What's up, Poppy? Marco La Coromosa. We got a lot of new people out there. Etch Jim. Tim F. What's up, Tim? Cole South. CTS. What's up, CTS, Poppy? I will ask that question when Sauce gets back from the bathroom. Mozio. Coscogero. Marco. Who else we got? I got to wait till it updates. George 86854, Poppy, Hola Coramosa, Powell, Guadagiro, Martin Vanderost. Keep the names coming. I gotta look up some names. Tyler Bauman, what's up? Lorenzo, what's up? Dirk Diggler, GTO Plays, Crowns Fish, Rory, Rems, Obama. Oh, what's up, Mr. President? You're a big supporter, man. Welcome. I love when the fucking president shows up, man. Max, what's up, Max? The Tender, what's up, Tender? Show of Force, what's up, Daniel? All right.
Yo.
That's all you get. All right, welcome back, man. I tried spitting out as many as I could.
How many times did you say Poppy while I was gone?
Probably like 10, 15 times.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's definitely one of my favorite names. Cole South had a question.
Okay.
TTS. How did Sauce staking with expiring makeup go?
It went really bad. So Cliff Notes, expiring staking is that you basically have people play a certain number of hands, which we call an interval. So say like 10,000 hands, and they got to keep a percent of whatever they were up over that amount of hands, and they got to start over on the stake if they were down. So it's basically you gave them a free roll for a certain number of hands, and then the free roll starts up again.
What? Why? Why this? Why do this?
Because the idea was that it would solve some problems with regular stakes, which is that regular staking, if somebody's in makeup, they always want to kind of be out of the stake because grinding out of makeup really sucks. And if they're winning, they always want to end the stake because they're winning and they probably want to go out on their own. So the idea of this is that like, okay, we're going to give these guys a variance free way to play poker. And all they have to do to like keep getting this opportunity to play variance free poker is like play good and take it seriously. But it didn't actually work. So what ended up happening is I think I had, so I like vetted these guys statistically. I looked at all their results a ton before I'd ever like let them play, and I look at references and things too. And I put together like 1 million hand sample of these guys prior to getting staked, and like their average win rate was maybe like 5 big blinds per 100. And then I looked eventually at like 1 million hand sample of these guys after getting staked, and their win rate was like 0.8 big blinds per 100 or something like that. So I think what became apparent was that regardless of what people say, there's no way to take the relationships like out of staking, if that makes sense. So my plan was like, if everyone could like kind of act like like act with a lot of integrity, I think it would have worked out really well. What ended up happening is, people consciously or not kind of took advantage of the fact that they were in a free roll, which maybe is obvious for people going in, but it wasn't obvious to me.
You thought they take it more seriously and they would actually be trying to get out of makeup instead of waiting for it to expire and moving on.
Yeah, basically. Because the idea is that you get enough, because the opportunity ends if you screw it up. So if you take advantage of it, I'm not gonna let them do it again. So I thought the incentive was going to be that if you try hard, you get in this good gig that you can do a bunch of different times. What ended up happening is people just wouldn't try that hard, or wouldn't be objective about getting better. They just didn't have enough incentive, I guess, to try their hardest, and they just tried to see how long they could keep it going for, I think.
Yeah, kind of sucks. So how much did you lose? A bunch of money from it, or was it?
I actually didn't lose that much, because one of the positives of it was that I found some guys who were really good stakes, but I think that had I just done a normal stake with those people, it would have made me more money, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
So I actually didn't do that badly off of it, but my whole big idea was totally bad.
Yeah. Probably the right people, it probably works out well, but obviously that's hard to vet the right people and find the right people.
And it's kind of like this catch-22, where if you have the right people, you don't need the expiring makeup.
Yeah.
So,
Boy.
yeah.
They probably aren't going to take advantage of that.
Right.
Probably you're going to work their way to makeup as well. But I mean, that might not be true, though. Maybe some people, I don't know. I don't actually know if that's true. Maybe some people it would affect them differently. And knowing that that makeup expires, they still want to try. It just gives them more hope at the end of the tunnel, so to say, to keep working hard and keep getting better, knowing that eventually it expires if you don't get out of it. So no matter what, as long as you try hard, you're still going to be able to move on, and your game's going to be better. You're going to be working harder. And when you get to that point where it expires, well, now you've been working so hard that you can kind of go from there.
Yeah. So it does work okay for certain people in certain situations, like people who really well, who you can trust. Mm-hmm. But I had the idea that by looking at their past results and offering them a good deal, I wouldn't have to trust them as much, because it would be a good deal that they should have an incentive to maintain their win rate, so they keep getting access to the deal. But it
seems like a big incentive to were you getting coaching at all, or was it just strictly staking?
I didn't have time to give them coaching.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm sure. I mean, obviously that probably would have swayed a lot of people to wanting to.
Yeah, it was kind of perverse, actually, because I feel like on a regular stake, everyone knows that if you don't try hard on the stake, or if you end the stake while you're in makeup, or if you end the stake too soon while you're up, it's a community-wide standard that you're just a dick. And that kind of keeps people in line, where they understand where the ethical boundaries lie, and the conversations they have to have, and they're sometimes respect it, even though it's a stupid system, I think. Mm-hmm. But with the expiring makeup thing, I was very quantitative with people, and I was look, I'm going to give you this deal. You can end it whenever you want. All you have to do is not fuck me over. And for them, they were just I can do whatever I want. It's fine. And so consciously or not, I ended up getting screwed over, I think.
Are you still staking now? Would you do that again, or is it not something you're interested in doing?
I only stake people now who I have a close personal relationship with.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, that seems like if you're going to do it, that seems like the more GTO approach to me. Dare I say? The Trav said, anyone else see a resemblance between Dur and Joey? Joey looks like he's more in shape. They look alike. They somewhat look alike. No? I actually feel like I could see the Dur resemblance, especially from the sideways. Yeah. But we took off our shirts. I'm going to tell you right now, there ain't no fucking chance we don't look alike anymore. Now, I usually wear a tank top, but I'm trying to classy to join up. But right. I can tell you, if I had on a tank top, you see the shoulders and you see the arms and you ain't going to say I look like Dur. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's no shots at Dur, but I'm sure he's not getting in much gym time in Macau. That's speculation, right? I'm sure he's not getting in much gym time in Macau. So
shots fired.
I mean, he's not working. He's fucking playing poker. He's not working on the gym. I mean, I don't know. Although I did see that recent 6+ hold'em video with him and Ivy, and he actually did look like
pretty good.
You look pretty good. Normally he kind of looks, a little wore off from some late night session, but he looked pretty good in the video. I thought he was looking like a healthy guy. Do you know him at all? Are you familiar with him? Friends with him at all? Anything like that?
Not at all. I wish. I played a lot of poker with him, and obviously he's very interesting person in poker.
Mhm.
Don't know him that well.
I hope we get him on podcast one day. Maybe we do.
That'd be great.
The tender says, I think this is actually true. Are Sauce's wife and Ansky's fiance sisters?
No.
Why did we think that? I thought that. I didn't think that, but I heard that. Why did we think that? I don't remember why we thought that. Okay. Greg Merson, I posted on Twitter the other day. He said, Online Poker Hall of Fame, why isn't there one? Can I start the Online Poker Hall of Fame? I probably can. Who do you think would be like top 5 people that go into the Online Poker Hall of Fame?
Durr, Jungleman, Isildur, Thuritz.
Wow.
Maybe Antonius, maybe Ivy, but they're not like completely online. I'm kind of like trying to pick people who are very online centric.
Mm-hmm.
Galfond would be up there.
Top 5. Fucking list, Greg. Top 5 you're running through, man. Top 5.
That's a pretty good top 5.
You gave us like 10.
I gave you like 6.
You gave us more than 5.
Okay, wait.
You're like
Durr, Jungle, Isildur, Thuritz, Galfond. There's my 5.
So people put Thuritz in. I wasn't even aware he was like in the consideration.
Thuritz is a stealthy crusher, man.
Really?
Okay, so here's my argument for Thuritz. Thuritz has been beating the biggest games online since like 2001. Throughout, without a single break.
What?
He's been like 12 years. He's been beating the biggest games online.
What was his full tilt name?
I'm not quite sure.
Oh, that's weird. Okay,
There's a lot of untracked Euro sites in there too, but like this guy's been like playing really big, mostly online for a really long time.
Well, I gotta ban someone else. Hold on a second. Let me ban this guy real quick. All right. I think I wrote down Durr. I guess Durr, Ivy. Although I mean, he won like $10 million when he owned the site. So I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but we seem weird. Durr, Ivy. Who else did I have down? Patrick Antonius.
Yeah.
Man, David Benjamin's in my Online Poker Hall of Fame.
David Benjamin's awesome too. Yeah.
David Benjamin is in my Hall of Fame.
What about Gus, man? Gus could be up there.
So I was trying to consider this. Can we put Gus in the Hall of Fame? Really?
I don't know.
What are we honoring in the? I think a Hall of Fame needs some parameters.
That's fair.
Are we honoring epicness, legendariness? Isildur's obviously first one in, or Dirt, debatably. I mean, that's a definitely good close one. But if we're honoring greatest impact in the games, I think Gus Hansen definitely on the list.
So I think we're honoring kind of like strategic impact is how I'd put it. And like a little bit with a dash of like just being legendary thrown in.
Strategic impact, how so?
Let's talk about Isildur for a second.
Okay.
Or even Durr. Like Isildur and Durr have both won and lost, crazy amounts of money online. Maybe neither of them are net huge winners based on the tracking sites right now. But in terms of like elevating the game of online poker and just being a huge boss and like changing the game, they're up there.
Great point. I think that has to matter too.
Yeah.
So in that sense, Isildur probably like one or two. I mean, do you think he had an impact in changing the game, or do you think he had an impact on raising the platform? Or I guess obviously highly entertaining, one of the most entertaining periods of time in poker history.
I mean, I feel like Isildur completely revolutionized No Limit Hold'em, which is like, oh, overbetting's a thing. I'm just going to do it all the time now. And then he like is an amazing triple draw player, still great mixed game player. I mean, I feel like every game Isildur's ever played, he's like kind of revolutionized in some way, or like brought a bunch of new things to the table, and just like his presence in the game makes the game be elevated, I guess, kind of.
Okay then. So Isildur, we got Durr. What are the other three? Patrick Antonius. I mean, yes, he doesn't play much anymore, but he certainly has some epic runs pre full tilt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got to be one of the biggest winners of all time online.
That's what people say. That's what Kobe will say. He's like got to be one of the biggest winners of all time online, which is like obviously a crazy statement to make, but
yeah.
Think Jungleman gets in top 5 status though? I mean, I love Jungle. I don't know if he's top 5 in the.
Maybe he's not top 5. I don't know.
Probably close.
I was kind of following like a chronology where I was like going like, okay, like Dur, Isildur, Jungleman, they all kind of fit together.
I was trying to do that too. I mean, Zygmunt kind of changed the way PLO's played.
Yeah, Zygmunt's big.
Play psychotic, and you play some very questionable hands, and you'd still be a debatably winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about who'd round it out? Let's say we put Zygmunt in theory in there. Who could be the last 2? Or PA's in there too, so it'd be one more. Phil Galfond?
I mean, Galfond's got to be in there because impact on the training industry, huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Impact on poker, also huge, like through his training videos and also through like his style and stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's probably in there.
I think so. Might have top 5. I might just start. I mean, listen, I don't know who's stepping up to start the Online Poker Hall of Fame, but man, why not us? What is it? Russell Westbrook say? Why not us?
I mean, I could get 30 who I think are all like almost as big. I think Isildur's number 1 though for Online Poker Hall of Fame.
I think so. It's like, but it's Isildur and Dur 1-2 though. You would agree with that?
Isildur and Dur are definitely 1-2.
I think so. But in terms, that's close because like Dur's sort of like, you know, with his style and then to live play. Like what did someone say? Tom Dewan said ever since Dur came out, like the timing, tanking, and all the weird bet sizes, like he sort of, you know, brought upon this whole new type of live player from online player sort of transitional sense like that.
Yeah.
Do you think Taylor Cavey makes the top 30 in this list?
Definitely. I think he's top 30. He has to be.
I think so. Hollywood Haxton probably makes top 30.
Definitely top 30. I think Cole is top 30.
I definitely think Cole's top 30 for sure.
Brian Townsend, definitely top 30.
Man, that's like old school name. People might. I'm getting Brian Townsend on a podcast one day in my life because we need that guy's like he was like a legend. He was like a legend. Like he was like the end boss before like he was sick, man.
Yeah, he still plays, you know.
Does he play? He plays mixed games, kind of, right?
Yeah, he plays like pretty big mixed games.
Yeah. Where's he at? What's he doing with himself? Any idea?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he might be in California. I don't even know though.
Yeah. I feel like he's in Canada or something. Heard he's big online dater. It's
I'm just remembering he used to live in Santa Barbara. That was a long time ago though.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Is Stinger in the top 30?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Ben Sulsky, is he in the top 30?
It's questionable.
Top 30, I think you make the top 30. For sure.
That'd be sweet.
Top 30.
I'd be happy.
Yeah, I think so. Gila Liberté.
I think he is. I think he's in the top 30.
I think so. Gus is in the top 30. Yeah. Gus
is definitely top 30. See, I don't think poker is exactly like other things. Like, you know, I mean, it's not exactly like the NBA or something, you know?
Great point. Really great point. Really great point. You know who doesn't make the top 30 for me? Oh. Team Barcode. They don't make the top. They're not in my Hall of Fame. If I have any of these, Barcode, Team Barcode, they're one person to me. They're not in the.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't make it for me. Nope. Not going to be able to do. Not those guys. No, not putting them. They're one of. Sauce is top 30, not even close. I agree. Doug Polk, WCG writer.
Doug?
Yeah, I don't think he makes the Hall of Fame quite yet.
He might be though. I mean, like it's only been a couple of years where he's been like, you know, huge in online poker, but I think he might be top 30. It's close. I don't know.
Like you need a long, sustained. I'm literally probably gonna make this up, and whether it gets any sort of credibility or not, who the fuck knows? But I bet in 5 years it'll have credibility. I'm making a prediction. 5 years, it's gonna be a real thing. I'm gonna do my best to get the best minds out there in poker to come to a consensus on that, and we're gonna figure it out.
I think Nano Noko is definitely top 30 too.
Yeah, Nano Noko. I mean, straight up, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Alex says Genius 28. Shout out to Genius 28. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So Genius is a little bit before my time. So I don't like I came up after Townsend, and Genius was kind of a little bit before Townsend, so I don't really know those guys' impact as well. Like, is Strassa in the top 30, or like El Diablo, or like people like that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that obviously.
Blood, Sweat, Tears probably is, right? Blood, Sweat, Tears, and
Hollingall?
Hollingall probably is, right? And
Yeah.
who's the guy? Neiman.
Oh, Piss Punkity Pinkity
Punkity. Yeah.
Punkity.
I don't know.
I don't know either. You gotta get some old school people in there that are more Scout 315. Certainly close, man.
Yeah.
Spirit Rock, probably Freeman. I think so.
Spirit Rock is definitely in there. Definitely in there.
I think so. TJ Bentham? I don't know about TJ Bentham. Could be close.
He's been around a really long time.
Yeah, that's true.
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Tender says, please comment, Ben, on hoodwinking the entire poker community. I thought he was some shut-in who studied or played poker 16 hours a day before this conversation. It's not an interview, motherfucker. He calls it an interview on banning expert. And next time, interview on banning motherfuckers, okay? I'm gonna rename the goddamn podcast the Poker Life Conversation. Not an interview, man. It seemed like anything. All right. Ends up, he's a cool, legit dude. I agree. Much love. ADZ124.
Yes. Oh, in the top 30? I thought it was an ADZ on live. I was like, ADZ. I don't know, borderline. I'm not sure.
Foxwood Fiend. Raptor. We gotta make a top 30. Now we're getting some names that I feel like
we start writing something down, I think.
I know we really do. We gotta we're gonna put this together in the in that 6 type group that
yeah. I feel like we need some kind of criteria of 3+ or maybe 4+ year online career. Because there's a lot of people who did really revolutionary stuff, but there's so many of them. You can only count a year or two. But maybe not. Maybe that's just a stupid way to think about it. I'm not sure.
Can tourney players in the Hall of Fame? No, this is a cash game Hall of Fame, guys.
Yeah.
Tourney players want to start an online tournament player Hall of Fame. You go ahead. You guys fucking do that on some Tournament Edge. Shout out to Tournament Edge, by the way. You guys go ahead, do what you got to do. Listen, I'm not any more in the tournament world than I already have. All right, I like some of the guys. I feel like I've met some great tournament players, and some of them are our friends. But
the tournament players are getting a lot better. I'll give them that. I think they are.
How so? Getting better.
A couple years ago, tournament players used to be really, really bad fundamentally, across the board, and they still mess up some stuff, but they're pretty good now.
The best of the best we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, talking about top professional tournament players.
I can agree with that for sure. I agree. Those are smart guys. The guys that are playing now are having success at tournament. There's no some of the guys back in the day were having success at tournaments. They were kind of I don't want to say any names because these people are fucking irrational people. But they were, you have a conversation with them. Let's just say it's not the most intellectual conversation, so to say. But some of the guys now you talk with Pertucci, you talk with Fedor. These are smart. They're 21. These are smart kids. These are real smart people who, you take a Hollywood Haxton or Scott Seaver. Those are smart people.
Well, yeah, but those guys are more cash game, I think. You should have. Is Scott been on the podcast?
No, I saw him in LA, and he's like, "I want to be on the podcast." I'm like, "All right, do the podcast." And then I cold called him on Twitter. I told my telemarketer, but I cold called someone on Twitter, and then I never heard anything back. I don't know. We need Scott on a podcast for sure.
We need to get Scott. Scott's great.
I agree. Yeah, leave the tournament player for the GPI. GPI. Listen, we just had Alex Dreyfus from the GPI on a podcast. What do you say about the GPI?
I just think anything that ranks people off of giant MTT fields with a sample size of 50 is kind of silly.
Yeah, his point of view obviously wants to sportify poker, make it more mainstream, make more people, be rewarded for successes they've had on. Obviously, you're going to need some criteria. I think that's the easiest to sort of quantify in poker. You can't really do live cash or online cash. I guess you could, but in a way you can't. So I guess that's, the angle to go when it comes to that. That's something you can see the results. You can see who finished where, and you can
Yeah, I mean, I have zero problem with the idea of sportifying poker because it benefits everyone who's in poker. And like, I'm not bitter. Like, I know some cash game players are like, oh, I can't believe these guys are getting all the accolades. We're, you know, the real poker. No, I don't feel that way at all. But I just mean like, if you think that, what does that actually track? I don't know. I think it's just like a spectator thing, which is fine. And poker needs something like that.
I mean, I definitely think, I mean, just from having on the podcast, I just had him on Monday, and just talking to him, you get like a wholly different, I mean, I knew about him.
I gotta watch the podcast then.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one.
Like his passion for, and like he's got some good ideas, and I feel like there's not many, you know, people taking like the steps I feel like he's taking in poker, and he's got a lot of ambition. Allegedly, he's got a lot of money behind it, as he said. So, okay. I mean, you know, he's pretty confident that in 10 years, this is like a thing. This is like a huge thing that's like, people that don't get in it now are going to be saying, I regret that I didn't get into it.
I'll definitely watch podcasts. My like default viewpoint is kind of like a naive cynicism about the GPI, but like I can be brought around. I don't want to be a hater.
And we said I feel like most people had that impression when they first hear about it. But I guess hearing him talk about it, and like I said, I've already I went to the conference in LA, so like I've heard a lot of this stuff. So I've definitely come around completely. I really like the idea. I liked the idea when I first heard about it. But talking with him, it's stuff you think you'll be interesting. You'll get some interesting viewpoints from him. What did someone say? They said, I dream of Jenna. Jack. What's up, Jack? The only black Ethiopian Swedish kid I know. What's up, bro? I dream of Jenna. I actually don't know the name.
I remember that account, but I don't remember its history.
I remember that. True Teller laughs with this conversation. Well, True Teller's obviously on the fucking list. Come on. I mean,
True Teller's on the list. Yeah, we're missing some Russians. Fort Haley probably is on the list too.
Fort Haley. Are they bots? Are they bots?
Are they?
Russia, yeah, code word for bot. I mean, Fort Haley could be a bot.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who could have been on that. Kagomi's definitely on there. We're missing so many people.
Kagomi, shout to Kagomi, no fan on podcast.
Yeah. Haas, TBF, obviously. We're missing all the limit people. You know, Alex Luno. Wow. There's so many people.
Wow, this top 30 just got real quick.
Oiso, too, is definitely on there. Yeah. Probably.
It's got real quick.
I feel like I'm just cherry picking the guys that I've played with and that I know, and I'm missing so many other people. Like, I feel very biased making this list.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing sometimes. Harrington, now being in the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Might have love. We might have some love at Harrington in real life. We got no love from him in the online spectrum. I think we got no love. He's not in the Hall of Fame. No. Can Sauce give a top 5 MTT, 5 or 10 MTT players? No.
Oh. What? Hey, Joey, I've got like maybe 15 minutes.
That's fine, man. We're trying to make this a record. I think I'm going for a record, man. I think Lafort had the record previous to this. Now this is going to be the record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Lafort had the record the first time he came on. That's now, you know, it's in the Discovery booth. We actually don't know where that interview is. Unfortunately, a little bit too much strategy in that one. But yeah, now we're setting a record for the longest podcast ever.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations. I know. I don't know how to make you feel.
I don't know how it makes me feel. I'll take it, though.
I don't know, man. They're
the title.
People are enjoying it, man. It's yeah. Well, we're gonna get to some a quick speed round, and then we're gonna wrap things up. So you can go ahead and go on your date. What do you got? Dinner date? You going taking the wife out?
Yeah, just gonna make some dinner, hang out with my dog, hang out with my wife.
Gonna make some dinner. What are you making?
Some sausages.
Ooh.
Some garlic and parsley sausages I got from the butcher.
Okay. Little side, a little veggie too, a little rice. Oh, you got potato.
Oh yeah, I got some. So asparagus is in season in Canada right now. So I've got some Ontario asparagus. Nice. Gonna saute some spinach. You know, maybe make some quinoa, all that good stuff.
Very nice, very nice. I'm in. Someone said Lars Lusak. I think Lars, definitely, man.
Lars is probably in there. Yeah.
I saw in the chat he asked you the other day. He said, "Are you coming on the podcast?" So maybe Lars. We had a Lars on. Lars, he's a legend too. Cosmo, I'm coming to Vegas next week on Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday.
Krantz probably too. I feel like Krantz started Deuces Cracked, or like was one of the founders of Deuces Cracked.
Had a TV show. Ansky? I mean,
Ansky.
We gotta go over the list. I mean, Ansky's still. Yeah. Can you really put active? I feel like I almost think a Hall of Fame should be like for not active people, really. But then some people make them active forever, though.
Yeah, hard to tell.
We gotta think about this more. Sauce cooking sausages. Yeah, White Lime, Flawless Victory, Prinny Raid, King Dan, Zugawat, A. Jones, You're Not in Danger too. Yeah, we gotta really right. They gotta go. We're gonna go over this. I'm gonna have CTS crunch some numbers on his from his office and see what he comes up with.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just joke by myself, and I'm gonna keep myself here. Okay, let me go back down here. Let me just look at this real quick. Does Into Moment also said, does he realize how much of a fucking beast he is to fanboys out there? I think even many high stakes regs would agree with it.
Thanks. Like, I don't know.
Does he realize he is how much of a fucking beast he is to fanboys out there?
I feel like I haven't really done that much at high stakes that recently, but I'm glad that people feel that way. I've just been kind of like trying to learn 8-game and like trying to keep being good at PLO, and like, yeah, there haven't been any huge matches recently.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. I mean, you did win like $400,000, $500,000 from Visitor in a day. Let's forget it, you know, randomly. So let's not forget that. Okay, who's your favorite player in poker? Speedrod.
On what criteria? Just like
your criteria. Who's your favorite player to watch, be a fan of?
Pretty big Isildur fanboy. Like, even though I've, competed against him a ton too, just like I'm always kind of rooting for him, except when he's playing me.
Of course you are, Ben.
No, but I mean, that's...
Of course you are. He does one 500K 2 weeks ago in a day, or it's like 3 weeks ago, or something like that.
No, I don't mean because of that though. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, Dino King. Dino King is a hilarious poker player.
Will
Hasha. Yeah.
Okay. All right. One of those two. All right. Who have you learned from the most in poker? Did I ask that question? No, I didn't ask that question really.
I got some coaching. Oh, so a bunch of people. When I first started playing poker, I learned a ton from one of my best friends, Silas Watson, Oyster River High School grad like myself from New Hampshire.
Okay.
We would go up. And then after that, I learned from Gabe Pogorski, also one of my favorite poker players of all time. GP, we posted on a forum called Flop Turn River. I also learned a lot from Ben Strati.
Ben Strati?
Yeah.
His screen on Pokerstars is Strati, correct?
Yeah.
I got no love for that guy. Keep going. Really? No love for that bum hunting motherfucker. No love.
All right.
Continue on. Let's keep going. No love.
Keep going. And then later on, got some coaching from Krantz. Helped my game a lot.
Okay. What about who you've learned the most from? I know everyone likes to show love to everyone they've learned from in here. Keep going. No, it's fine.
Who've learned the most from? There's not a single person. I mean, there's not like a certain person who I've learned the most from. I don't think. I was like, yeah.
Okay. Who do you look up to in poker or admire?
I admire Ben86 a lot for his work ethic and the way that he approaches the game, and like he's like full of confidence, but very humble about what it takes to be on top. I think that's awesome. Mm-hmm. I think Cole is really good at poker too, and like every way that it's possible to be good at poker, pretty much. Like just like the way he's always playing in good games, always like getting better too. People like that. Phil Ivey, obviously, just for like being a huge boss.
I know, right? Yeah. True.
Galpon too, definitely.
Okay. Someone said the Chirac came out of me when you're talking about. Yeah, listen, like I am from Chicago, and I'm not from grew up in the best part of Chicago, so I mean, I can talk like I'm a black person if I'm around like playing basketball with some of my friends that are here. So, and I'm not. That's kind of how I grew up, for better or for worse. Alex KP make the top 30. No, he doesn't. The tender. It's a bannable offense right there. But I'm not going to ban you since you brought some. I froze. But all right. Who in your life has inspired you or helped you the most, and why?
Like boring, normal stuff, like parents, close friends, that kind of thing. Like there's not like any kind of like great story.
Okay. What inspires you to keep going?
I think I've always been really process oriented with poker. Like, I don't know what you're laughing about over there.
I'm happy for
I like
I'm having high spirits right now.
All right. Okay. So I get up most days, and like one of like the top 5 things that I want to do that day is like go play and learn and like keep playing poker. And I think that's what's kind of kept me going throughout a long time of like ups and downs. Is like I always really enjoyed what I was doing and the process of doing it. think other people who are more financial motivated or like who want to be the best because it feeds their ego to be the best fizzle out eventually, because what was exciting about poker ceases to be exciting, or they get beaten down or something like that. And like no question, those things are like fun for me too. Like I'm not like, you know, a purist or anything, but like I think in general, just really enjoying poker has helped me over the long haul.
I like that, man. I like that. I have a list of, I'm just going to pick one out of here, and then I'm going to do my last close up, and we're going to close it up, and then you get to cooking. People have been asking about this question in the chat about Twitch. I'm literally not asking that question. It's been asked too many times. I'm not asking the question. Sorry, I'm just not going to be able to do it. I bum hunted Nolan. I was on Nolan Dalla's website, and he asked a good question of people, so I bum hunted some of his questions. What is your favorite quality in a man or a woman? I love that fucking question.
I like people who are funny.
I'm pausing for you to elaborate more. People that can make you laugh.
Yeah, like people who are like, you know, interesting, fun. Oh, there's my dog. My dog is charging downstairs.
Oh boy. Be interesting. All right, 2 podcast guests recommend for the future.
Scott.
Okay.
And Ivy.
Well, a realistic podcast. I think we get Ivy on the podcast.
I mean, you already got Daniel.
That's true. That's a good point. Okay. One piece of poker advice for someone that people out there are listening to this.
I guess try to have fun out there and keep improving.
And do you have a Twitter? Everyone keeps asking.
No Twitter. No
Twitter. All right. Anything else you want to add, my friend?
That's it. That's it. I'm trying to get out of here before my wife makes a cameo. She's sort of peering at me.
Oh, come
on the other side of the door.
We've had Ansky's girlfriend on here. We've had Greg Merson's girlfriend, Jungleman's girlfriend.
No dice, not this time.
Why?
It's dinner.
What a nit. All right, guys in the chat, much love. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the questions. You guys asked a lot of questions in there. You know, I tried to pick some comments out of there. I apologize if I didn't get to your questions. I don't know when we'll be back with another podcast. I got a lot of guests lined up at World Series of Poker. There's going to be some epic shit out there in Vegas. Guys, there's going to be some fucking fun podcasts and live shit out there. If you want to follow Sauce, you can follow him on Facebook. Where can he follow you? On Run It Once too, right?
I mean, Run It Once. I don't really have any social media presence whatsoever. So basically nowhere.
Okay. You want to follow Ben? Not going to be able to do it. He ain't nowhere.
Sorry. I'm unfollowable.
Let me know how you like the podcast. Post in the 2+2 podcast group. It's 4 stars. Please get it 5 stars. Please post in the podcast thread if you like the podcast. People read that shit. Good reviews breed people they want to come watch. So post what you thought about it in there. And yeah, Sauce, thanks for doing it, man. I'll see you in Vegas. I'll see you out there. And
good time.
That's it, man. We got some fun.
All right, cool. See you, Joey.
Peace. See you guys later. Adios. Hasta la vista. Peace out.